League, the second and third place teams face off tonight on 5 Sports Extra. Wigan Warriors, Catalan Dragons. Dave Woods is there.
Well, Catalan 3 wins out of 3, but you rather fancy this will be their toughest test here tonight at Wigan, a ground they haven't won on for 12 years. So if they're going to keep that 100% record up, they're going to have to rewrite a bit of history. Wigan are 2 wins out of 3 so far. Lost on the opening day to Hopkins the Rovers, poor performance that day. But they have beaten Wakefield and Castleford in the last 2 games and kept both those sides scoreless as well. So on quite a run. 2 eye-catching wingers as well. Tom Johnson for Catalan, Liam Marshall for Wigan. So there should be plenty of entertainment too here tonight.
Coverage begins at 7:45. Elsewhere, Bangladesh beat the world champions England comfortably by 6 wickets in the first T20 international in Chattogram. Back to football, the French national team, ranked 5th in the world, have sacked their manager Corinne Diacre 4 months before the Women's World Cup. You can get more on that on our EuroLeagues programme. You can listen to the podcast right now on BBC Sound. So, commentary of Manchester United, Real Betis on the way. We are 14 minutes from kick-off, and we're going to focus on the Spaniards now. Their coach, of course, a familiar face in Manchester, the former Manchester City manager Manuel Pellegrini, asked ahead of tonight's game, did you keep across United's 7-0 defeat to Liverpool on Sunday?
I was watching the first 45 minutes because after that we had to play against Real Madrid, so I couldn't see when Liverpool scored the other 6 goals. But of course, I understand immediately what will happen in Manchester United. So rivalry between Liverpool and Manchester that have so amount of goals, well, it will not be easy for them. But well, I am a Manchester City fan also, so I was not very sad about what happened.
That's Manuel Pellegrini. Delighted to say we can bring in Spanish football journalist Semra Hunter. Semra, good evening.
Good evening.
I think that is really, really interesting, because my experience of Manuel Pellegrini is that he's a pretty dour fella. You don't get much out of him in an interview, but there he is with this wicked sense of humour. Where's this come from?
I think he's always had it. I think we've probably just seen it a little bit more whenever it comes out in Spanish. But yeah, he's normally a very classy, very elegant fellow. And he's obviously very experienced. He's been in this game for a very long time. And I'm sure that he has a little bit of personal history there, given that he lived in the city of Manchester for so long, right? And he was the one that took City to that historic Premier League title, and to do so against their biggest rivals, Manchester United. So it does seem as though a little bit of the fan inside of him came out, which is something we don't see too often, as he is normally relatively reserved and level-headed. But it has added a little bit of nice spice to the game tonight, I think.
Good to know it wasn't just my interview technique then. Also, it's a bit easier to be happy and smiley and cracking jokes when you're doing as well as they are doing. They've just drawn with Real Madrid. They're the Copa del Rey holders. Pellegrini's taken them to their first trophy in 17 years. He's done a heck of a job, hasn't he?
Well, he's called the engineer for a reason, right? And he really has engineered some fabulous seasons for Real Betis since he's taken over. He's a wonderful manager with so much pedigree at the European level and at club level across all of the different nations here in Europe. And he's done a marvellous job. I mean, he knows how to take players and squeeze every last drop out of them in terms of the potential they have, the talent that they have. And he's really got them clicking so nicely as well as a team. A couple of seasons ago, I think they were the team that had the worst defensive record of all the top 5 big leagues in Europe. And he's managed to fix them up at the back, even though the last couple of games, it's true that they started shipping a lot of goals. But he did fix them defensively, and he's gotten them into this goal-scoring machine type of behaviour where they're really offensive, they're very attacking, they have a very clear identity of how they like to play, and they don't waver. It doesn't matter who the opponent is on a given day, they always play the same way. They're true to their style and to who they are. And so they're a lot of fun. They're really a good watch, entertaining whenever they have their day. And this season, for whatever reason, he's been no stranger to rotations, which is interesting with some of the selections that he's made for tonight. But yes, he's done a fantastic job in really getting the collective strength out of everyone that he has, especially this season where they lost a lot of some key players in the summer and they weren't able to rebuild after that. So he's a fantastic manager and he's doing a wonderful job. They're 3 points outside of the Champions League in La Liga right now, 5th in the table. And here they are looking to make history tonight at Old Trafford.
Semra, a question on behalf of Leon Osman, who's wondering how it's possible that a 41-year-old like him in Joaquin can be starting in a major European tie. How does he do it?
Joaquin is a rare breed. He is a unique player, a unique person in football, and he is very much a diamond, I would say. He has so much character, so much personality, so much pizzazz. He's obviously looked after himself for a very long time, and he loves Betis. He is Betis through and through, and I think he has been trying to extend his career for as long as he possibly can because he doesn't want to leave the club. And tonight he makes 100 appearances in European competition. It's a really special night, and I think that's why Pellegrini has actually allowed him to start, because he doesn't really start anymore. He does come off the bench, he does make an impact. He obviously is a huge leader within the dressing room as well. He has something to offer from a football point of view, otherwise he wouldn't be starting in such a game of this caliber and importance for tonight against the likes of Manchester United. But it is remarkable to see what he has been doing. He's been breaking records as the oldest goal scorer in Spanish football history. I think he's doing all kinds of things when it comes to appearances as well. He's working his way up in that category. I mean, he's just a remarkable footballer and person, and he's also got a lot of spirit to him. Let's say he's very funny, and I think the players love having him around as well. So there you go.
Semra, it's been wonderful to have you on. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Enjoy the game and good luck.
Thank you, Semra Hunter there. Here's one more quote from Manuel Pellegrini. He was talking about Betis facing United. He said, Betis have the desire to compete. You can't compare us to Manchester United. Getting the chance to face them is pure hope. Rene Merlenstein, Leon Osman, Ali Bruce Ball, all with us. So they're coming in hope, Rene, but from what Semra's just been telling us, you know, maybe they will expect to cause some big problems.
Well, I read somewhere, Steve, as well, that of the 70 encounters Manchester United has had playing Spanish opposition, he only won 20. So that is a bit of an indication. We talked about nicknames before. I thought that when he was at Manchester City that we sort of nicknamed him the Undertaker, and let's hope they don't bury United tonight.
Do you know, it's funny, Ali, because for people listening who won't know, at the start of any Premier League season, you have these media days, and you see the players and the managers have to walk toward the camera and sort of punch the air as if they're doing a celebration. And I was at the West Ham one when Pellegrini was the manager, and he just stared the photographer dead in the eye and shook his head.
The thing is, though, Steve, if it's not you, don't try and pretend to be something you're not. And Manuel Pellegrini, I mean, just look at his CV. He's going to be 70 in September. I think where I would be slightly concerned if I was a Manchester United fan is looking at his record in Europe, particularly with clubs a bit like Real Betis. So do you remember the Villarreal team he took to the Champions League semi-finals in 2006, eventually lost to Arsenal, took a Malaga team to the quarterfinals. What are you going to say, Leon? Did that team beat your team?
That was the year he beat us in the qualifiers.
That's right, yeah.
So thanks for bringing that one up.
You're having a great night so far, Leon.
It's really great, yeah.
But also, Steve, this team, so this incarnation, this is his third season in charge, punching above their weight again. Has finished 5th and 6th in his first 2 seasons in charge, won the Copa del Rey last season. That's only the fourth major trophy in the club's history. And in terms of the qualifiers from the Europa League group stages, they had the best record of all in a group with Roma, who've beaten Real Sociedad tonight, Sociedad who finished ahead of Manchester United. Well, Real Betis finished above them and won 5 out of their 6 games in their group, so they're not going to be a pushover.
Yeah, it sounds like, Leon, there's plenty of reasons, not for Manchester United to be fearful, but for them to be very careful.
Yeah, wary, definitely. I mean, as Ali just mentioned, that Real Betis certainly know what they're doing. They're not overawed going away to difficult stadiums and getting results, and they'll come here probably full of confidence. They're actually trying to get in the top 4 in Spain. They're currently 5th at the moment, come off the back of winning a cup last year, so they're definitely on the up and up. They're definitely improving. They trust in Manuel Pellegrini, who, you know, you talk about experiences. I read today's 1,421 games as a coach. You know, that's not easy to achieve. Yes, he's 70 years of age, but what an incredible career, and he's won an awful lot of silverware down through his time. So he'll probably be excited coming here, probably telling his team the same thing. So for United on at their levels, the levels we know they're capable of, we've seen what can happen.
Manuel Pellegrini's record here as the Manchester City boss: 1-1, drawn 1, lost 1.
Nice. Well, away to our right, the Betis fans have just been getting louder and louder, and now they're really whipping those green and white scarves above their heads, getting ready for the teams to come out. They'll be in the tunnels right now, about to join us. We've talked about Bruno Fernandes, who's had a lot of the negative attention. Of course, René, Marcus Rashford has had only positive attention this season. He was talking about the benefit of having a first full pre-season in a long time, and I know you think he looks fitter now than you've seen him for many years.
Yes, he does, and what it does, Steve, is that, and Leon will confirm that as well as a player, if you are fully fit, you have nothing to worry about physically. You're relaxed because you're only going to focus on your performance and the way you're going to play, and that is, I think, what's happened with Marcus, and he's obviously worked on his game, Ten Hag and his coaching staff, in terms of probably his finishing. He's calmer, he's more clinical and ruthless. But he's good within himself, and you can see that with the way that he plays his game in a moment.
There are a few Glazers out banners that have just been raised away to our left-hand side. The familiar music in the background tells you that the Manchester United and Real Betis players will be joining us in the next few seconds. René, thank you very much. We'll speak to you a little bit later. René Merlenstein, of course, very, very experienced as an assistant head coach here at Manchester United. Well, the snow's falling, Ali. It looks absolutely beautiful inside Old Trafford.
I was just about to say, Old Trafford looks like a giant snow globe, doesn't it? One of those little touristy snow globes that you pick up. You can actually imagine being able to buy one. Like, maybe, I don't know, maybe they've got them in the club shop. Who knows? Not my job to try and flog them, obviously.
Half and half snow globe. Well, Leon, these first 10 minutes are going to be fascinating, aren't they? We're going to learn a lot about what the Manchester United players have been through, perhaps, in the last 72 hours.
Yes, and I expect buoyed by the fans as well. I think the fans will respond as well. I think the fans will want the team to know that they're right behind them, that they want to respond in kind as well, and I expect the team will show what they're capable of. So I think that they will have to start quickly. Real Betis will have to hang in there, but at the same time, you know, if you come out so quickly without real control and you go too much with too much excitement and too much emotion, you do leave the door open at the back, and Real Betis will be aware of that as well. So it has to be controlled emotion from Manchester United. It has to be yes, that positive step forward, getting the crowd involved, but it can't be guns blazing. There does have to be a certain amount of control to the game.
The teams are ready. We're ready here on 5 Live and BBC Sounds. Ali, it's all yours.
Here we go then. A perishingly cold night in Manchester. Snowflakes falling. A whole flurry of them, falling ever more heavily, actually, as we await the arrival of the two teams. And we've got a camera close-up in the tunnel of those Manchester United players. The same starting 11 that suffered one of the most humiliating defeats in the club's long history on Sunday. The 7-0 hammering at the hands of one of their greatest rivals, Liverpool. So much talk about the performance, about the 6 goals shipped in the second half, and particularly about the man in focus right now, holding the Manchester United club pennant in a chilly left hand. Bruno Fernandes will captain Manchester United again tonight. 2 weeks ago precisely, we were here to watch them knock Barcelona out of this competition. A few days after that, they won the club's first trophy in 6 years with the League Cup final win against Newcastle. Then it was a win against West Ham to make it through to the quarter-finals of the FA Cup. And then the wheels came off last Sunday. So can Erik Ten Hag fix them quickly back on in the first leg of this last 16 Europa League tie? The two teams are on their way, marching across the neatly manicured turf in amongst the snowflakes. Manchester United, bright red shirts, white shorts, black socks with the red tops, and Sporting Lisbon with the green tracksuit tops on. They have a fantastic support inside this stadium as well. Leon Osman, just before I give the two-team lineups, one of the things that caught my eye in the programme notes from Erik Ten Hag was talking about collective responsibility. We've had a lot of conversations, haven't we, about how the players let Manchester United down at the weekend. Erik Ten Hag, I think, realises as well, he has had a fabulous first season at Old Trafford, don't get me wrong, but he has to take some of that responsibility as well, doesn't he?
Yeah, I believe so. I believe that as fantastic as he's been, he will have learnt an awful lot himself. I mean, never been to Anfield as Manchester United manager before. when the momentum is against you at places like Manchester United, at Anfield, regardless of the size of the club and how good your team are, you have to stop that momentum before you're able to get back into the game. And I didn't think he did that at Anfield. I don't think he gave his team a chance of stopping that momentum Liverpool had. He took off Martinez and put Shaw centre-back Malacia. That made it even more difficult for Manchester United to defend that Liverpool onslaught, and that certainly added to the scoreline. So everybody, and he's right, and he said in his programme notes, everybody associated with the club had to take the blame for that.
First 10 minutes of this game are going to be absolutely fascinating. A very warm welcome to our listeners on BBC Radio Manchester this evening. If you're on the move, of course, you can get us on the BBC Sounds app, live inside Old Trafford on BBC Radio 5 Live. Snowflakes are swirling, green smoke are billowing, and green and white scarves are twirling in the East Stand away to our right-hand side. Big night for Manchester United, and the team lineup, well, you'll probably know it from Sunday already. David De Gea in goal, a 526th appearance for the club. Back four, Diogo Dalot, Rafael Varane, Lisandro Martinez, and Luke Shaw at left back. Casemiro, if he gets booked this evening, would miss the second leg against Real Betis. That's next week.
This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
Unfortunately, due to rights restrictions, we're not able to bring you the current sports commentary on this platform. You may be able to listen on an alternative platform. For further information and terms of use, go to BBC.
Brazilian-born, but now boasts Italian nationality. A Portuguese rock, really, in central midfield. William Carvalho won the Euros with Portugal in 2016, has played in 5 major tournaments for them, alongside another World Cup winner in Guido Rodriguez. 41-year-old Joaquin making 100th appearance in European football tonight. He's played over 900 times in his senior career, never played against Manchester United before, so this is a first for him. Juanmi, former Southampton man, wide on the left. 22-year-old Brazilian Luis Enrique, first season at the club for him at Real Betis. He's wide on the right. Ayoze Perez, on loan from Leicester through the middle. They will desperately miss Nabil Fekir, star man, who unfortunately is out for the rest of the season with a knee injury. So we're underway, and Manchester United defending the goal in front of the Stretford end away to our left. Lisandro Martinez on the ball. Good noise from the away fans, but now you can hear the home fans. Anthony gets Manchester United on the move. Dalot with a little step over. Runs into the challenge there from Luis Felipe. Strong 50-50 between Dalot and Abner, and the ball has gone out for a Manchester United corner or throw-in, Leon?
Yeah, I think it's just about corner. I think that's what the referee signalled, and the players are certainly making their way forward to the penalty area. A good start, positive, as we expect by Manchester United. Dalot running beyond Anthony, being played in, forcing this early corner. Be great if they could convert it.
Yeah, early goal, and I was going to say all might be forgotten. I don't think a 7-0 defeat against Liverpool can ever be forgotten, but it would certainly be the start that they need this evening. Luke Shaw curls the corner into the far post. That's a really good header away by Petzela, the Argentine. Fred chases the ball out to the touchline away on the left, and it goes out for a Real Betis throw midway inside their half. It's a lovely picture inside the stadium tonight, isn't it, Leon, in terms of, I was going to say Christmassy. It's obviously not that because we're in March, but wintry, thick snowflakes falling. Stadium is packed. You can hear the noise. Erik ten Hag is wrapped up almost as warm as Leon Osman, borrowing his borough as well tonight, as we know, and free kick conceded by Fred on the halfway line. So Real Betis will get that free kick. Minute and a half played. Manchester United 0, Real Betis 0. If you hadn't heard, earlier on today in the Europa League, Arsenal in Portugal away at Sporting. That one finished 2-2. 6 goals between Union Berlin and Union Saint-Gilloise. That finished 3-3. Bayer Leverkusen beat Ferencváros by 2-0. Roma 2, Real Sociedad 0. And here come Real Betis down the right, and it's a sliding challenge from Martinez, and I think the flag might be up for a Is it up for an offside, or has that just gone behind for a goal kick? West Ham 2-0 winners in the Europa Conference League away at Larnaca in Cyprus this evening. It's an offside decision that has gone against Betis. Leon Osman.
Yeah, a generous one. Betis certainly trying to get Jose Perez, the former Leicester player who's now at Real Betis, who's playing right up top today. We didn't know who would beat Iglesias, who scored 10 goals. He's the top scorer for Betis. He's only on the substitute bench. It's Perez that started up front, so interested to see how he plays up against people and players he's played against regularly in the Premier League.
Manchester United throw inside their own half on the left. Luke Shaw has the ball in his hands, ball above his head, and slings it back to Martinez. So it was a front foot start by Manchester United in the first minute of the game. Now it's starting to settle. Martinez takes it away from Jose Perez. Little chip ball from Fred out to Luke Shaw on the left. He's tackled. Betis come back to their goalkeeper, Claudio Bravo, all in light yellow, takes a touch and drills the ball downfield with his right foot. Dalot lets it go over his left shoulder. Awkward bounce for him. It sort of hits him on the knee, and he's having a few problems dealing with this. Eventually manages to get away from Juanmi and plays back to David De Gea, all in blue, away to our left. Short pass from him to Varane. Varane very carefully plays it to his right, to Bruno Fernandes. Deep inside his own half, the Manchester United captain forward to Anthony. Anthony's pass is blocked. The ball rolls back into the Manchester United half, and they'll start again with Varane.
Yeah, we weren't sure before the game. I mean, Erik ten Hag named the same team as against Liverpool, and in that game it was Marcus Rashford that played right down the middle. Weghorst was number 10, and Bruno Fernandes was out on the wide areas, but it's not that. It's back to normal today. Weghorst through the middle, and Marcus Rashford in that position he knows so well on that left-hand side.
Rashford wide left, but at the moment Manchester United attacking down the right. Anthony with the peroxide hair turns, has the ball at his mesmerising feet, finds Fernandes, quick pass, whipped into the feet of Fred. He's offside, ball's in the back of the net, it won't count. The offside flag went up way before that, and the assistant referee's got to be very sure there, because obviously they could wait, let it play out, see if it ends up in the back of the net, and then turn to VAR, but he seems certain.
Do you know what? He didn't need to be either, Fred. He drifted into a lovely position in between Felipe and Abner on this left-hand side of the Betis defence, and once he got in there he had an opportunity to get back onside, and he would have been completely unmarked from that clever little pass from Bruno Fernandes. It's unfortunate that for Manchester United. Once he was in there, he delivered him brilliantly, and Weghorst adjusted to finish with his chest as that cross came in, but that's an opportunity that Fred's just let go by for Manchester United.
Intensity level certainly up here at Old Trafford from the home team. Dalot doing some defending, awkward ball back to De Gea, only heads it as far as Juanmi, back across goal, loops up in the air inside the box. Martinez heads it away, scuff shot from Joaquin, and Manchester United will bring it away with Anthony. Abner challenges from behind, knocks him over, free kick. Casemiro takes it quickly. There's Rashford, pops up in the number 10 slot just inside the Betis half, wide quickly to Fernandes. Fernandes looks up, low drill cross, falls to Rashford, quick touch onto the right foot, top corner from Marcus Rashford, just 5 minutes in, and suddenly Anfield seems like a distant memory from Sunday. The familiar celebration from Rashford, runs to the touchline, closes his eyes, one finger pointed to the side of his head, and incredibly the 26th goal of his season, and Manchester United in front. United 1, Real Betis 0.
Yeah, the exact start that Erik ten Hag and everybody inside this Manchester Stadium, Old Trafford, would have wanted. Really good counter-attack. I mean, they nearly got themselves in trouble at one end, Manchester United, with a bit of sloppy play from Dalot, but from that moment the break was devastating. They got forward quickly. Marcus Rashford, as you mentioned, just drifted into a lovely number 10 position, unmarked, drifted the ball out to Bruno Fernandes, who was actually looking to cross it to Weghorst at the far post and didn't catch it properly. Felipe just sticks that leg, trying his best on the back foot just to stop it going there, and all he could do is knock it into the path of Marcus Rashford, who takes a touch, drops his shoulder, creates that half a yard, and then a devastating finish into the top corner. Exactly what you expect with the form he's in.
Manchester United in front, just watching a couple of replays of the goal. Brilliant skill from Rashford to fashion the opportunity, rolled it under the studs of his right boot just to switch the ball into the right position, powered the shot into the top corner. Luis Felipe, as you said, Leon, fell over. The absolute definition of sort of desperation defending, on his back, sort of tries to throw himself in the way of the shot to block it with his head. Incredibly brave, couldn't do it, and goalkeeper Claudio Bravo well beaten, so United lead 1-0.
Yeah, I didn't know whether Marcus Rashford would hit it first time, because it seemed to sit up lovely, but he took a touch, and then, as you said, Felipe just tried to throw himself in front, but Rashford had the awareness and the quality to drop his shoulder, move the ball to the side, and then I didn't know he was going to go far post, high or low. He went high to the near post, and goalkeeper couldn't get near it.
Rashford hadn't scored in the last couple of games, the FA Cup game against West Ham and the 7-0 defeat at Anfield, of course. Back on the score sheet tonight, 7.5 minutes gone, Manchester United in front, and it's out for a Real Betis throw. To California we go. Russell Fuller watching the tennis at in Wells.
An utterly dominant performance by 21-year-old Jack Draper, Ali. His first match since losing to Rafa Nadal at the Australian Open. He's beaten the Swiss qualifier Leandro Reedy 6-1, 6-1 in just 56 minutes.
Thank you, Russell. Radio 5 Sports Extra from 10 tonight. Russell and the team bringing you commentary of the tennis over there. Emma Raducanu, we hope, and Andy Murray both in action this evening. So that's from 10 o'clock on Sports Extra tonight, and Ian Carter, our golf correspondent, will keep us updated on the first round of the Players tournament at Sawgrass taking place in Florida. Commentary on that on the third round, fourth round on Sports Extra at the weekend, Saturday and Sunday. Manchester United 1, Real Betis 0. First leg of this Europa League last 16 tie. Casemiro outside of his right foot. Weghorst header saved by Claudio Bravo. Weghorst was stretching. Decent header from him. Just couldn't get it far enough into the corner to really test the keeper.
No, he couldn't. He did really well to get an effort on target. It was really good play again from Manchester United. Really effective down this right-hand side. Bruno Fernandes and Casemiro bringing a real overload before finding that cross for Weghorst. And as you said, he just couldn't quite get enough power on it to really trouble the goalkeeper, but good enterprise and play again from Manchester United.
So 9 minutes played. Manchester United leading Betis 1-0. Defending to do now. Long ball forward into the United half. Anthony is back there in his bright orange boots. Abner has taken the ball off him very easily. Real Betis in the green and white vertical stripes, black shorts, green socks. Joaquin on the ball, 25 yards from goal in a central position. Little clip pass to his left-hand side. Danger for Manchester United here, and suddenly double teaming from Fernandes and Dalot. They managed to take it away from Iosi Perez. Casemiro didn't have the best of days at Anfield on Sunday. In control again, plays the ball out towards Fred, back to Luke Shaw, and wide it goes to Rashford. Beautiful first touch, of course. Back to Shaw inside his own half. Snow slightly easing, but still being blown across the pitch on the breeze. Here's Iosi Perez. Casemiro a little slow in possession there, lost it. Now Luis Felipe chests it down for Betis on the halfway line. Carvalho is tackled. Bruno Fernandes just pokes a ball to Fred. Wide it goes to Anthony. Weghorst on the move in the middle. Abner blocks Anthony. Manchester United get the free kick, and the referee, who is Daniel Siebert from Germany, just wants to check on an injury to Luis Enrique. Not seen much of him in the opening stages of this game. He's the young Brazilian who's taken a knock on the left knee. I think he's hobbling back into action. Manchester United will get a free kick. Leon Osman.
Yeah, he was the person who just snuck up behind Casemiro and took the ball off him that started that potential counter-attack for Real Betis. And both teams are having a bit of joy in the middle. Betis aren't really playing with Joaquin too deep. He's more of a second striker than anything. So Manchester United at times getting the extra man in there, but that moment where Joaquin just dropped back in, wow, did he play some good football, and good couple of 1-2s cut through United's midfield.
Carvalho on the ball for the visitors, playing forward with his right foot. Iosi Perez offside, and again, I know you're going to tell me, Leon, he doesn't need to be offside there. That was a chance, wasn't it, for Real Betis to get away down the left? That's sloppy.
Yeah, I think that was just a delayed pass as much as anything else. Carvalho could have played that astride earlier. That's where Perez made the run initially, and once he took that extra touch, Perez found it very difficult to bend his run anymore. But yeah, I mean, Manchester United was so advanced, so high up there. That was an opportunity for Betis.
David De Gea has the ball at his feet for Manchester United, rolls a pass to his right to Dalot. Dalot just gives Juanmi a little encouragement, but plays back to De Gea again. De Gea drills it with his right foot and gives the ball straight away here to Enrique. Luis Enrique stops in his tracks and plays it out to the right. Sabali getting forward for the first time, plays his ball wider right. Here's Enrique, fancies a shot possibly, dummies that, beats Casemiro. Bruno Fernandes in with a tackle. He's just slightly overrun this, so his fellow Portuguese international Carvalho takes it off him. Fernandes desperately trying to win it back, but can't tackle Enrique there, who took another knock, and Real Betis come back to the halfway line. Manuel Pellegrini is out of his seat in the dugouts here at Old Trafford, which are set back and slightly higher up, and he's made the little march and walk down up the slope to the side of the pitch just to try and get his team moving as he wants them to. Luis Felipe, their centre-back, closed down by Weghorst, played forward to Juanmi. Luis Felipe again just inside his own half.
Yeah, Manchester United have just sort of dropped off the ball a little bit. I mean, they've been a bit sloppy in their own half at times, but having started quickly, got that early goal with everything that's happened in the last few days, I expected them to really take control of the game and try and get a second really quickly, but they've just took their foot off as if everybody's just relaxed. They've got themselves in front, they're happy to be there, and it's just allowed Betis to get on the ball and start dictating the play.
12 minutes gone if you're just tuning in. Welcome to Old Trafford. 5 Live, BBC Sounds, BBC Radio Manchester tonight. Manchester United 1, Real Betis 0. 6th minute goal from Marcus Rashford, rifling his right-footed shot into the roof of the net. Here's Casemiro. Casemiro with the freedom of Old Trafford. Curls a pass into the path of Anthony. Anthony fancies this, drops the left shoulder, skins Abner, takes it into the penalty area, back onto the left foot, just being held by Abner, has the strength to win the ball, but can't play it back to Fred, so Betis clear. Goes to the left to Joaquin, the 41-year-old. Fred in to win it off Rodriguez. Back it comes to Casemiro. Casemiro across to Bruno Fernandes in a deeper midfield position here at the moment for Manchester United. Across to Rashford. And Rashford just stands still at the moment and says to the defender, right, what have you got? Enrique sticks out a leg, tries to tackle him. The ball comes back to Fernandes. In turn, he looks for Martinez across to Varane, and Varane doesn't see a decent option forward, so he plays back with his left foot to David De Gea. Forward to Casemiro, and United recycle. Here's Lisandro Martinez.
Yeah, it was unfortunate that from Anthony a few minutes ago. I haven't seen him do that very often in a Manchester United shirt. Drop his shoulder and try and beat someone on the outside. A bit of skill, bit of pace, and once he got on the outside, he then chopped back inside, and what he just lacked a little bit of strength to shrug the defender off, because he created the space, created the opportunity, just got out-muscled at that crucial moment when he had an opportunity to get shot away.
Ball forward from Bruno Fernandes, again from that deep-lying position. Fred is tackled on the halfway line. The Argentine Guido Rodriguez looks to float a ball to the right. Fernandes is back there to head it away, and now I can see Fernandes on the move down the left. He receives the pass from Casemiro. A couple of touches and works it onto his right foot. He's in the middle of the Betis half. Anthony comes towards him, 25 yards out, gets the shout from Dalot. Dalot's cross is blocked by Abner, comes straight back to Dalot, to Casemiro. A little flick from him, and Anthony wasn't on the same wavelength, didn't run for it, but the Betis clearance is only into the Manchester United half. No Betis player nearer it, so Lisandro Martinez collects, and Manchester United start to play again. Anthony makes the run. Fernandes seeds it. Anthony lets the ball float over his head, and Claudio Bravo's off his line to pick it up for Betis.
Yeah, I've got no problem with, Casemiro just tried that flick in the middle of the pitch, and he was trying to play it for Anthony on the move. Anthony didn't really think it was for him and left it. Got no problem with that. The issue which we saw at Anfield last week, which was there in Anthony's game again, there was, once that ball's given away, it doesn't matter who's given the ball away. The closest person to it goes and tries to win it back. And Anthony just stood there as if to say, that wasn't me. And that's the kind of thing that Erik ten Hag won't want in his team. Whoever's the closest, especially when you're playing at home, especially when you want to play a pressing game or a high tempo, whoever's closest has to go win that ball back.
Claudio Bravo's giving it away. Here's Anthony on the right, and he's tried a little trick to beat his man. He's got the last touch, and it's gone out for a throw in. Erik ten Hag, just as you were saying that, Leon, was scribbling some notes on his little pad. Different pen tonight, so it'll be interesting to see where you go now. Do you stick with the multicoloured option that you claim he's copied from you, or will we see a different pen the next game you're at?
He'll be back, don't you worry. He'll come back.
Dalot down the line to Anthony. Dalot again. Casemiro. Nice first time passing from Manchester United. Late challenge from Felipe through the back of Fred. The referee saw it. We'll wait and see whether he takes any action. Both of the Betis centre-backs on yellow cards that will rule them out of the second leg if they get a yellow card tonight. Short cross, Weghorst wide at the near post. He claims it took a deflection and should be a corner. That looked like a really good chance to make it 2-0.
It was a really good chance. Really good play from Manchester United. They stretched Betis and they got Marcus Rashford in off the left-hand side. Luke Shaw overlapped. Good play between them, and Shaw just passed across in there. It wasn't fired, it wasn't overhit. He just passed it along the floor for Weghorst, who looked like he'd held off his defender, looked like he got Felipe behind him and created that opportunity. And I'm not sure if there was a touch. He's just missed the target. seeing it again, that left foot, maybe there was the slightest of touching, but it wasn't a convincing enough finish. There was a touch, actually, just seeing it from behind the goal. And actually, that should have been a corner kick. Good play, really was from United.
Oh, Rashford could be in again, edge of the box. Bravo's out quickly and makes the block. Loose ball back to the edge of the Real Betis penalty area. Rashford onto it like a shot, flying towards the edge of the box, and Bravo got there just in time. It was Rashford's touch. It was his shot that was blocked by Bravo. Bravo's actually down hurt, and Manchester United have a throw wide on the left. So 17 minutes in, Leon, we said it was going to be a fascinating night, particularly the first 15 minutes. Are you impressed with the response you've seen from Manchester United so far tonight?
You have to be. I think the fact that they're a goal ahead, I think the fact that they're the team that's had more opportunities to make it two. I thought they would really go for the throat, having scored that goal. I really thought that they would keep on pushing forward. There's been a bit more control to the game, which is fine. This is two-legged. They don't need to get the job done in 15 minutes and leave themselves exposed, but they will continue to create chances, especially with Marcus Rashford in that kind of form. How alert was he then? When he's at his best, he's always ready for the opportunity, and nearly got his second goal there.
Claudio Bravo's okay, took a knock on the left shin. Manchester United have taken their throw, and Betis bringing the ball out of their own half. Fred is doing the closing down for Manchester United. It comes across to the left back, Abner. Abner chips one into the United half. Wanmi chases, goes down very easily. He's not going to win a free kick like that. Varane plays it to Dalot. Dalot infield to Bruno Fernandes. Thought about the early release. Decides to take the ball onto the halfway line and then whips the diagonal towards Marcus Rashford, but Rashford won't catch that. It's out for a throw. Super League action tonight. Wigan Catalan being watched by Dave Woods.
18 minutes played in the first half. Wigan 0, Catalan Dragons 6, and Catalan deserved it. Mano Mao, as they dominated the early stages with a try from close range. Kieran has kicked the goal. Wigan have just enjoyed a bit of pressure in the last moment or so, but it remains Wigan 0, Catalan 6.
Thank you, Dave. Commentary continues over on Radio 5 Sports Extra, talking the other code in rugby. Big Six Nations weekend on the way. England, France, part of the Saturday package on 5 Live Sport. Full commentary at 4:45. But if you want your football on Saturday evening, Crystal Palace against Manchester City at 5:30 will be on Sports Extra. It will switch to 5 Live after the rugby, and then it's on into 6:06. Your 3 o'clock commentary on Saturday is Leeds against Brighton. Free kick for Real Betis. Manchester United lead them by 1-0. Sporting 2, Arsenal 2 earlier on today in the Europa League last 16 first leg. Anthony plays the ball back here to Dalot. Clever little touch from Dalot, gives him a bit of space to work with. Back it comes to De Gea. De Gea's first time ball across to Lisandro Martinez down by the corner flag in the left back position. Clever straight pass to Luke Shaw. Returns the ball to Martinez, comes across to Rafael Varane, and Rafael Varane gets those long legs motoring and brings the ball 10 yards forward. Wide to Dalot, back to Varane, into the feet of Casemiro. Manchester United fans give him the shout of man on. Casemiro was quick enough this time, turns away from Ayoze Perez, finds Martinez. Here's Casemiro again, right on the centre spot here at Old Trafford, where the snow seems to have stopped for the time being. Luke Shaw, back to Martinez. Patient build-up from Manchester United, trying to make Real Betis chase. Fred stretches, can't control that pass. Casemiro, lovely ball with the outside of the right boot first time. Releases Rashford on the left. Bit of work for Rashford to do. Up against Sabali. Tried the old elastico, just got away from him. And Sabali's in to take it off his toe and bring it away to Real Betis. Runs into the challenge there of Luke Shaw and wins the free kick. And Leon Osman would have done the old elastico back in the day. That one didn't quite come off.
My hip would have come out of its socket if I'd ever tried that. That was it shows it was good play, actually. I mean, United moved the ball really well to get Marcus Rashford into that position, and yeah, it was it was expansive, shall we say, what he tried, but he's in such confident form that you have to let them players play it. Really good from Salabi, though, to defend Marcus Rashford running at you, just coming into your own penalty area. Good composure, let Marcus Rashford make the decision, took the ball off him. Really good play.
Coming up towards the midway point in the first half, free kick Manchester United, leading Betis 1-0. Fred was fouled by Joaquin. Luke Shaw taking his time over the restart. If you're a EuroLeagues fan, presented by Steve Crossman, that was recorded earlier on today, so I think that's available now actually via the BBC Sounds app. Your weekly look at all the European football, focusing on the Champions League, of course, this week. Football Daily will be there for you as well, much later on tonight, first thing tomorrow morning, reacting to this match in particular. And here come Real Betis with Luis Enrique up to the edge of the Manchester United box, works it onto his right foot. Luke Shaw trying to stick with him. Enrique down to the byline has won Real Betis a corner.
Yeah, they've done well to recover there, Manchester United. Real Betis played some nice play right through the middle, and United jumped. They tried to win the ball. Casemiro stepped in and missed it. Lisandro Martinez stepped in and missed it. Because of that, there's a big hole in the defence. Real Betis nearly took advantage of, but they managed to get back. Luke Shaw in particular just slowed the attack down, made sure that Enrique couldn't get away from him, went 1v1, slowed him down, happy to give away the corner.
Corner for Real Betis in front of the Stretford end, headed up in the air by Petzela. It bounces awkwardly, edge of the box, shot comes in. Real Betis half-heartedly appeal for a penalty. I'm not quite sure who that struck or what that struck inside the penalty area, so we'll have a look on the replay monitor in just a second. Betis still have it though, wide on the right, and it's Joaquin who plays it out to Enrique. Comes back to Carvalho, support from the right back Sabali. Sabali whips in a low cross. Casemiro stoops to head it away. Manchester United still not got this clear. Joaquin back to Sabali. Anthony with the challenge but couldn't win it. And here's Enrique. He's got two red shirts in front of him. Plays back to Sabali. Back again to Carvalho. Carvalho plays it square left inside the Manchester United half to Guido Rodriguez. Back again they come to Carvalho. Now his ball down the inside right channel. Martinez read it for Manchester United. Stuck out a left boot to intercept. Curls a pass forward which bounces once, and Petzela leaps to head the ball towards the halfway line. And then Anthony makes a block and the ball goes out for a Real Betis throw inside their half.
Yeah, Betis aren't going away. They're certainly not panicking just because they're 1-0 down 23 minutes into the first leg. I mean, they're taking the ball when they can. They're trying to put Manchester United on the back foot. Manchester United aren't dominating possession or seemingly control of the game. Betis are very much in this game, so Manchester United do just have to make sure they keep doing their jobs. They keep making sure they don't give anything silly away, opportunities, because they'll keep creating chances.
Leading 1-0 through the goal from Marcus Rashford. That's poor from De Gea. He shanked one with his right foot, playing out from the back, and it's gone out for a throw to Betis. Three other games in the Europa League last 16 first legs kicking off this evening. No goals as yet in any of them. Sevilla against Fenerbahce, Juventus against Freiburg, and Shakhtar against Feyenoord. Petzela's ball forward. Varane's got it covered. Cushions a little header towards Casemiro. Nice turn from Shaw. Enrique tries to drag him back, and Shaw just shrugs him off and goes charging forward. Pass across the face of the penalty area. He's just headed away from Rashford. Rashford races to his right, just down in front of us now. Collects it, plays it back to Fernandes. Clever ball to Fred. Rashford's there, free on the right. Cross comes back towards the penalty spot. Awkward one for Anthony to control. It's cleared away by Enrique. Varane heads the ball down into the Betis half. Fernandes loses the 50-50 for Manchester United. Then the ball pings off the legs of Casemiro. Weghorst gives chase. It's back in the Betis penalty area, but Bravo's got time. Just a side footer pass to Petzela. And Petzela, the Argentine centre-back, another one with the peroxide hair, plays the ball out from the back. Fred strong in the challenge, too strong, according to the referee. He's knocked his man over, and that'll be a free kick to Real Betis. Leon Osman.
Yeah, just about a foul, I think, from Fred. Just nudged his opposite number off the ball to then take the ball. And that would have been a good opportunity for Manchester United had the referee not given that decision. But Manchester United just look a real threat when Bruno Fernandes or Marcus Rashford have the ball. And whenever those two are linking up, that's when opportunities seem to come for Manchester United. Marcus Rashford's just swapped sides for the last 4 or 5 minutes with Anthony, whether that's just through design or from the corner kick, and they've not quite recovered. We'll see in a couple of moments, but whenever those two players link up, they look a threat.
Fred on the ball for Manchester United, finds Bruno Fernandes in the centre of Real Betis' half, wide to Dalot and back to Varane. Here's Martinez, the only man inside the Manchester United half, to Luke Shaw. Luke Shaw with his right foot strokes a pass wide to Anthony, who's now over on this left wing. Curling cross, Weghorst there, how's he missed that? Stretches out a right leg, sticks it over the bar. He's 6 yards out, and I think the assistant referee has pointed for a goal kick rather than offside, I think, Leon.
Well, it was close, but once he moves into that position, Weghorst doesn't know, he can't care, he's got to go and finish it. and he makes a real mess of it, if I'm being honest. In fact, Anthony is on that left-hand side now. Just gives him an opportunity to do this. Just open the crossing lane with his left foot, just put it into a brilliant area, 6-7 yards out towards the back post. Yes, it's probably bouncing hip high and Weghorst is stretching, but you still expect the big man to get his foot over that and be able to direct it down rather than up and over the top of the crossbar. I think he may well have just been offside. I've just seen the replay, but still expecting to finish that.
Assistant referee didn't give that in real time. The signal from him was for a goal kick, but I think you're right, Leon. Had it ended up in the back of the net, it may well have been ruled out, but it probably should have ended up in the back of the net. That's the point. Casemiro's curling high ball finds Anthony on the corner of the box to the far post. Fernandez tries to attack the header. Carvalho just hooks a clearance up in the air, headed away. Dalot gets to it first, lobs a little ball back to Martinez. Martinez plays back into his own half, and Varane's got to be quick here to hold off Juanmi and play back to De Gea. De Gea gets a good meaty thwack on the ball and clears it up to the halfway line. Luke Shaw wins a header, bumps into Sabali. Brave header from Shaw, and a good one as well. It's released Anthony. Rashford's there on the left. First time, heads for the bottom corner. Bravo makes the save, but it rolls to Weghorst. Weghorst back to Fernandez, and his shot is closed down and blocked, and behind it goes for a Manchester United corner. Manchester United 1, Real Betis 0.
Yeah, really good counter-attack from Manchester, and it comes through Luke Shaw being really brave in a header between him and I think it was Savali on that right-hand side, and he wins it. And from there, Manchester United 4v3, and I think once Anthony is running with the ball, he's got Marcus Rashford to his left-hand side. He just under-hit the pass slightly, made Marcus Rashford really have to just halt his run, couldn't generate the power towards that far post. Keeper was able to make a save.
Claudio Bravo at times tonight is wearing the look of a man who's thinking, too old for this at times. Good save to his left. Manchester United couldn't stick away the rebound. Bravo and Casemiro I just saw in conversation before this corner. Bruno Fernandes curls a ball in to the far post. Varane is there, might fall. Casemiro on the turn, hooks it over the bar, and that is a goal kick for Real Betis. So Erik ten Hag in the programme notes talked about not taking big chances in the first half against Liverpool on Sunday. Marcus Rashford has taken one. He'll be very keen they take a second as well and give themselves a little bit of a cushion. The advantage they had, of course, Leon, in the playoff round, in the last round, is that Barcelona came here in the second leg. Obviously, in this tie, they've got to go to Spain in the second leg.
And it makes a difference. So Manchester United have seen what momentum and the atmosphere of a stadium can do to a team. I've just witnessed it only at the weekend. So the more goals they can get and take advantage-wise to Spain, the better. So, yeah, these chances are big. These are opportunities that you'd expect them to score. And that was a difficult one for Casemiro. Weghorst certainly should have put one in. Rashford, as a team, that just had an opportunity to make a real clear opportunity, and they're important.
Just over 15 minutes to play in this first half. Throw in from Betis down the left. Varane heads it away. Casemiro chases a ball across the halfway line and decides to come back to his goalkeeper, David De Gea. Live on BBC Radio 5 Live, BBC Sounds and BBC Radio Manchester as well tonight. Manchester United playing out nicely from inside their own half. Fernandez lets that ball from Fred run across him. Dalot didn't quite read it, but Anthony was there to pick it up on the right. Plays back to Fernandez, and here's Varane. Varane gets his head up, forward to Fred. Fred's almost outnumbered in the midfield there, stumbles and loses it. Good little bit of skill from Rodriguez for Betis, and his ball forward to Juanmi. Intercepted by Varane, who quickly gets Manchester United on the attack. Anthony plays it to Fred. Anthony's continued his run. Nice little turn from Fred, now burrowing his way infield. That's a poor pass across the face of the Betis box. Sabali brings it away. Bruno Fernandes does well to come sliding in. Makes the first tackle for Manchester United. Jose Perez chases the ball, lets it run and cross him, and it goes out for a throw-in to Betis on the right.
Opportunity for both teams, that. Both teams got good possession in the opposition's half. It was Rodriguez for Betis first, who turned lovely, got past Casemiro brilliantly, and then had four players ahead of him to choose from. Tried the most difficult pass United got on the counter-attack, and then similarly Fred turned really well. He had, I think it was Bruno Fernandes, and he had Anthony, both making runs in behind the opposition. Tried a difficult pass to Marcus Rashford, gave the ball away, and those are the moments you want to take advantage of.
Manchester United had given it away. Rodriguez here to Joaquin. Joaquin lofts a ball which is chested down by Juanmi on the edge of the box. Juanmi running across that penalty area. Good pass from him out to the right. Shot's driven in and finds the bottom corner. And Real Betis are level. Jose Perez who's never scored against Manchester United in his career, has done it for Betis tonight. Looked like a really difficult angle. He's rifled it diagonally across the Manchester United penalty area. David De Gea couldn't reach it, and it's Manchester United 1, Real Betis 1.
Oh, that is a brilliant finish. It really is a sensational half volley from Jose Perez. We've seen him score some really good goals for Leicester, but this one will be right up there with regards to strike and angle he's hit it from. I mean, people may say it was a tight angle. Maybe De Gea could have done better with it. I'll have a look with the replay, but I said Betis weren't going away. They're moving the ball well. They're having good possession in Manchester United's half. Once they get into the position, they move the ball across. They filter it out. Flick ball to Jose Perez. He takes a touch and hits it beautifully. We're just seeing it again, though, in the build-up. Did Dranmey use the arm just before it gets filtered out? I'm sure the officials will look at that. I think it did actually hit his arm, whether it's early enough or late enough in the play. But once it goes, he puts a lovely pass out to Jose Perez. Corner of the 18-yard box. One touch with his chest. Second on the half volley. In off the far post. And it's 1-1.
Goal stands. We've kicked off again. 12 minutes remaining in the first half. Jose Perez, on loan at Real Betis from Leicester, has scored against Manchester United. Rashford on the ball, making his way into the Betis penalty area. His pass infield is blocked, but he gets it back, plays it to Shaw. Shaw's little scoop pass headed down and away. This is going to run to Rashford. First time ball to Shaw. Dalot gets in the way of Shaw's pass that was actually aimed at Rashford, and Betis clear. Enrique is under pressure, wide right forward for Betis. Does well because he holds off Casemiro. He's tackled by Shaw, and the ball goes out for a throw-in to Betis. VAR decisions just come up on the old Europa League app. Just going to read that again. And Gary Flintoff, our producer, can bring... I was too slow, Gary. And now the screen's locked, and now it's not recognising Gary's face because he's in all the layers tonight. No handball by attacking player. Well spotted, Leon. Yeah. Chested down by Juanmi on the edge of the box. Sort of brushed his left bicep, possibly. Didn't
I'd
it,
like to see
down.
it again. I thought it did actually touch his left forearm after it maybe chested first, but they say they've had to look at it.
I wonder if he had chested it down to score and it had brushed his left arm, whether it might have been ruled out, but he's obviously played the pass before Perez.
Yeah, I mentioned I didn't know how late it was in the attack, how many players need to touch it before, but wasn't given. And for all the nice play Manchester United have had up to that point, if you don't take your chances, the opposition will go down and get it. That was a criticism of Erik ten Hag before the game, and his team have had 2 or 3 chances and 2 or 3 opportunities to make good chances, and they've not actually converted them.
Test of Manchester United's resolve again. You can hear Manchester United on Sunday in their next Premier League game, by the way. 2 o'clock kickoff on Sunday. Manchester United against Southampton is a full commentary on Radio 5 Sports Extra 5 Live. At that time we'll be bringing you Fulham against Arsenal. Anthony's given the ball away. Here's Juanmi. He's got support from Abner, the left back behind him. Abner's challenged by Dalot, and the ball's gone out for a Real Betis throw. 10 minutes remaining in the first half, and the noise you can hear at the moment comes from the east stand, and it's a swirling sea of green and white scarves again. Real Betis fans still celebrating the equaliser. Rashford's first-time ball finds Weghorst, chests it down, challenged by Luis Felipe. Casemiro up early to win a header. Referee says that's a foul challenge on Joaquin. Free kick for Real Betis, central position, about 30 to 35 yards out, if anyone fancied a sort of Cristiano Ronaldo-style dipper from that sort of range. It's Perez, actually, who was caught by Casemiro.
Yeah, I'd be disappointed if De Gea was beaten on the full from this distance. I think they'll try and move it to the side first, but I think he's unfortunate there. Casemiro's got his eyes on the ball. Perez saw him coming and just turned his back and planted his feet so that Casemiro would have to go through him. Referee decided that was a free kick, and as I say, Betis are starting to feel real confident here that their fans are buoyed away to all right, jump them down, swinging their scarves, and they're seeing an opportunity to maybe get another one.
So free kick for Real Betis, first competitive meeting ever between these two clubs, although funnily enough they did play in a friendly during the World Cup as they were getting ready for the restart, shorn of all the internationals, of course, particularly Manchester United. Real Betis won that game by 1-0. Perez playing the free kick forward. Jose Perez, goal scorer, going to get another chance. Little trick from him, plays it wide to the left. Abner onto his right foot inside the penalty area, stooping header away from Weghorst. Corner for Real Betis, who are enjoying a good little spell in the game at the moment. 1-1.
Yeah, I don't think it was exactly what was planned, but Abner and Jose Perez. Good feet, good trickery inside the Manchester United penalty area. A little bit of nervousness about the way Manchester United defended that, but defend it they did. And Betis have a corner kick. Just seeing that replay again for the goal. Chest, I do think it hit the inside of his arm, forearm, just by the elbow, that left arm, Juanmi. He gets away with it.
Corner comes in, low bouncing one. Bruno Fernandes blocks it with his right foot. Back it comes out to the left wing for Real Betis. Played back to Carvalho. Carvalho's diagonal ball into the United penalty area. Rashford jumps and it clears him. It clears Jose Perez as well, who can't keep it in play. So that'll be a goal kick for Manchester United. So 7.5 minutes remaining in the first half here at Old Trafford. Snow is falling again. If you're out on the roads listening to us this evening, then do take care and make sure you listen to all the forecast for the travel tomorrow as well. De Gea's playing the ball out from the goal kick into the feet of Luke Shaw. Manchester United 1, Real Betis 1, and still no goals in the other 3 8 o'clock kickoffs in the Europa League last 16 first leg games. Sporting 2, Arsenal 2 earlier on today, and in the Europa Conference League, West Ham with a good 2-0 win away to Larnaca. Abner under pressure for Betis, plays back to his goalkeeper Claudio Bravo, taking no chances there, thumps the ball forward. Varane wins the header wide on the right, and it goes out for a throw-in to Real Betis.
Yeah, they're just, I feel maybe they need half-time at the moment, Manchester United. They're just a little bit disjointed in their attacks. They're a little bit nervous in the way they defend, and there's no doubt they played well for 25-30 minutes of this game, but as I say, that control I expected them to have, moving the ball through midfield, creating opportunity after opportunity, they're just falling away from those standards at the moment.
Betis have a free kick just inside the touchline, wide on the left, but dangerous position for Manchester United to defend. Joaquin, great deliverer of these balls, 41 years old and still going strong for Real Betis. Second spell at the club, over 500 appearances. Takes a deep breath and is standing just off the pitch at the moment, hands on hips, as the referee gets everything sorted on the edge of the box. He blows his whistle. Joaquin ready to go. It's a dangerous ball into the box, headed away by Lisandro Martinez. Carvalho is there, awkward volley forward, and the ball goes out harmlessly for a goal kick to Manchester United. So just over 5 minutes remaining in this first half. Manchester United 1, Real Betis 1. De Gea's taken the goal kick, or is letting Martinez take the goal kick, who plays it to De Gea, who's right in the middle of his 6-yard box, and he's just slowly creeping forward. Jose Perez comes rushing towards him. De Gea with a big long clearance down the middle of the field. Petzela wins the header against Weghorst. Here's Carvalho facing his own goal inside his own half, plays back to Luis Felipe, across to the left back Abner. Abner slightly off balance, plays the ball down the left-hand touchline. Varane can't take any chances there, blocks it with his chest. It's out for a throw into Betis.
For the size of Weghorst, I don't think he wins enough aerial duels. When that ball is played from the goalkeeper, the amount of times centre-halves get above him and win those first contacts, headers, he's so big, and he's, he can leap as well. That should be a real avenue of attack for Manchester United, especially when they're under a little bit of pressure. Opportunity to get out. He very seldom wins those first headers.
Here's Joaquin. Diogo Dalot trying to stick with him. Wide on the left for Betis. Back to Abner. Infield to Guido Rodriguez. Joaquin can't control that one. It gets away from him. Squirms under his right foot and goes out for a throw into Manchester United as the snow continues to fall. Here's Varane. Varane across to Martinez. Edge of his own box. Jose Perez directly in front of him. Plays to his right to Varane. Varane back to Martinez. Closed down by Perez again. Ball now with David De Gea. De Gea doesn't quite get that right. Hits the pass straight at Juanmi. And Dalot is too keen to win it back and effectively rugby tackles Juanmi. And that'll be a free kick for Real Betis.
I think that's the fourth time David De Gea has given the ball away, trying to clip a very cute and delicate pass into a midfield man on the half turn in a little bit of space, rather than, either you play it to your fullback, you play it to your centre half, or you go long. Although I've just spoken that Weghorst hasn't won many first headers, but you can't keep on getting caught trying to drop a ball into midfield. It's such a difficult pass.
Right, he's going to get another go here. That's an easy one for him, because he goes straight to his right to Dalot, who's on the corner of the box, and he says to David De Gea, looks like you need the practice, have another go. So he plays it back to him. And across it goes to Lisandro Martinez. The little Argentine comes bouncing forward, ball at his feet. Luke Shaw's making ground down the left. It goes via Casemiro to Shaw. One touch from him into the feet of Weghorst. Weghorst pokes it through to Rashford. Rashford, blur of speed again. Oh, the ball in. Anthony somehow miscues his shot from 6 yards out. Knocks it to Claudio Bravo. Bravo wasn't in his goal. It was effectively an open goal. And it's come off Anthony's boot and just gone straight to Bravo, and it looked easier to score, unless that's the defender, Abner, who's got the touch, which is why Anthony hasn't scored.
Yeah, I think Anthony was just caught on his heels slightly. Brilliant again from Marcus Rashford. Good from Weghorst when the ball's at his feet, dropping into a number 10 position, just slipping it through to Marcus Rashford, who, and travelling towards the goal, just gets a touch too close to Bravo, who comes sliding off his line so quick. Just touched it back into that space, hoping Anthony would pass it into the goal, but as I said, just caught on his heels slightly, and Abner able to clear.
Yeah, it was Abner's foot that crucially made the touch that got it back to Claudio Bravo. Rashford, I think, may have been offside. Oh, De Gea's given it away again. Juanmi playing the ball into the box. Jose Perez, difficult angle. Shots deflected right across the face of goal, and Manchester United survive. Lisandro Martinez clears, but David De Gea has got to sort it out. He keeps giving the ball here to Real Betis, and it very nearly cost Manchester United a goal.
I think it hit the far post. I think they've gotten away through a lick of paint here at Manchester United. As I said, though, he keeps on just rolling passes, and Real Betis are set up for it. As you say, Juanmi into Jose Perez, who, in trying to pick out a teammate at the far post, takes a deflection agonisingly over De Gea, and everybody just stops and watch it hit that far post. They're so fortunate to see that one come back into play rather than into the Manchester United goal.
Very lucky escape for Manchester United. Took the lead with the early Marcus Rashford goal. They've been pegged back to 1-1. We're in the 44th minute of the first half, and Manchester United have a corner which will come in from the right from Bruno Fernandes. He holds his right arm in the air. Captain's armband wrapped tightly around the left arm. Here it comes, an away swinger. Casemiro leapt high, got a glancing header. It runs through the box to Luke Shaw. Luke Shaw's ball in, flicked header. Martinez tries to power header on goal. Varane wins the next one. Up in the air it goes. Betis rather dangerously let that bounce in the box, but they've cleared it for the moment to the left. Gets away from Juanmi, and that'll be a throw-in to Manchester United. Closing stages of the first half. 5 live BBC sounds and BBC Radio Manchester tonight. And it's 1-1. Fernandes, little ball to Anthony. Back to Fernandes. Inside the penalty area. Fernandes outside of his right foot looking for Weghorst. Pass just beyond him. Manchester United might get another go. Skills from Varane. Carvalho in with the challenge. Varane is strong. Wins it again for Manchester United. Back to Anthony. Fred's behind him on the right if he wants him. Anthony doesn't. He's going to use Bruno Fernandes, who goes back out to the right to find Fred. The cross comes in. Doesn't beat the first defender. It's headed away. Ball is volleyed forward. And we've got 1 minute of added time at the end of a very interesting first half here at Old Trafford. Martinez towards Fred. Fred on the turn. Releases Dalot down the right. Dalot with a little step over, trying to head for the byline. Bumps off Abner. Gets across it. It takes a deflection. Bravo stretches, punches away, picks himself up. Here's Rashford trying to work it onto the right foot, wide on the left. Tackle on him, but Rashford chases back out to the touchline and plays it back to Luke Shaw. Another cross comes into the Betis penalty area, headed away, and now suddenly Real Betis at the end of the first half are on the break. Joaquin has Jose Perez ahead of him. Little pass with his right foot to Carvalho. Now he uses Jose Perez. Perez running at Manchester United defenders, plays it back to Carvalho. Fred is there to try and close it down. Carvalho waits for him and then plays to Sabali on the right. 10 seconds remaining in the first half. Manchester United holding strong, but they do concede a corner, which will be the last action of this first 45 minutes. 1-1.
United had half a chance at one end of the field. It could have been a big moment in this tie if they could have got in front just before half-time. Now they've got a big moment to defend. It would be really devastating for them if they'd go behind at this point just before half-time. So, one of the big characters to defend this corner well.
Leon Osman with us here at Old Trafford. Heavy snow still swirling. David De Gea bouncing on his line. No pressure on him from the opposition. They're going to start their runs, 3 or 4 of them, from about the penalty spot. Abner is deep, and Enrique is just standing on his own at the near post. Cross comes in. It's beyond everyone. It will come back to Abner, who's going to have a hopeful attempt on the bounce with his left foot. Slices it wide. The referee blows the whistle, points to the tunnel, and they are level at half-time. Marcus Rashford, with some familiar brilliance this season to work a chance for himself, smashed it into the top corner, but Real Betis, through Iosi Perez, have got themselves back into this game, and it's very intriguingly poised, Leon Osman.
It certainly is. Well, Betis have come here not just to sit back and maybe try and get out of here with a nil or a draw. They've come to try and score a goal. They've had a couple of opportunities, the majority of those coming through Manchester United giving the ball away, David De Gea in particular, sloppily playing into midfield. But United will be satisfied, they'll be okay at half-time. They could have capitalised on a really quick start. I expected them to go on and try and get the second and the third, having started the game so well. But Real Betis got their way back into the game, and actually it's nicely poised at 1-1.
Yeah, there was that lucky escape for Manchester United just before the end of the first half. The ball bouncing off that left-hand post after David De Gea gave it away. So a response of sorts, but certainly not perfect. Half-time here at Old Trafford. Manchester United 1, Real Betis 1. Steve.
Ali described Old Trafford as a beautiful snow globe tonight, just as it looked like it was settling down. Real Betis have shaken it up again. Let's bring Rene Merlenstein back into the conversation. I've been trying to read your expressions, Rene, during that first half. What did you make of it?
Well, like Ali and Leon are saying, it's very evenly poised. United started really, really well. Marcus, obviously, player on form, took his chance beautifully. Didn't snatch at it, he shifted it, dropped the shoulder and then put it in the top corner. So, and then you think, great, that's the start we want. Let's keep pushing, let's keep going. A lot of it really came from, most of it from the right-hand side, a few things, and then, you got your sort of half chances from Records, which basically, arguably, were all offside. But if you look at Real Betis, they were really, thought, let's just nice and quietly get into the game, and they did, and they started to, they started to creep forward, and when the chance fell, and I have to say, Perez, an outstanding goal, used the position of Luke Shaw really well, hit it on the outside with a drop kick, really difficult technique, but what a good goal. And like Ali just said at the end, it could have been 2-1 down, for that deflection which hit the post. So it's going to be a make-up for the really interesting second half, because obviously De Gea haven't done them any services, and that's when you get sloppy like that, giving balls away, that's when the insecurity starts to creep in, and you don't want that.
Rene, Ali, Leon, thank you very much for the time being. So Manchester United 1, Real Betis 1, could easily have been 2-1 to the Spanish side, just hitting the post just before the break here. In the freezing cold here inside Old Trafford, we're going to take you to the warm climes of Florida for the TPC Sawgrass Golf and California for the Indian Wells tennis before second half commentary here at Manchester United. All after the latest news with Tim Daly.
Listen on BBC Sounds. This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
Good evening. The government has announced construction of a phase of the HS2 railway will be delayed by 2 years as part of a cost-saving plan. It was designed to link London, the Midlands and the north of England, but has been continually hit by delays and rising costs. The affected section is between Birmingham and Crewe. Labour's accused the Conservatives of holding back Britain, while Deputy Editor of Modern Railways magazine, Andrew Bowes-Roden, says he can't see how the delay benefits anyone.
Whatever you're looking for, we've got sounds for that.
Fancy livening up the commute? Join us for 5 Live Drive.
Of course, you don't have to be driving. You could be on a bus, on a train, even a horse.
Good point, Tony.
Or you could just dance your cares away with my mix of non-stop feel-good tunes. Sophia Respector's Kitchen Disco.
Or, if you want to change your pace, try out 6 Degrees from Jamie and Spencer.
Jamie can even be quite funny occasionally.
Bit rude.
Music, radio, podcasts. Listen on BBC Sounds.
And continuing with the news this evening, the man accused of murdering Olivia Pratt-Corbell in Liverpool last year has cried in court. That was as her mother talked about the moment the 9-year-old was shot dead. Cheryl Corbell was giving evidence in a video interview recorded a week after the attack last August. Thomas Cashman denies murder and several other charges. The head of the United Nations watchdog has called for the creation of a demilitarized zone around the Zaporizhzhia nuclear plant in southern Ukraine after shelling temporary temporarily cut the electricity supply needed to cool down radioactive material. Rafael Grossi says it's the 6th time the plant's been put at risk in that way, and eventually luck will run out. Also this evening, many homes in the capital of Kyiv are still without heating after the barrage of Russian missile attacks which targeted the city's infrastructure. At least 9 people were killed. A West Midlands police officer has been arrested and remains in custody following reports he filmed a sexual encounter without consent. Some of his colleagues are reported to have had the content then sent to them. 10 people are being investigated. And 3 amber warnings are in effect across parts of the UK, with heavy snow being forecast. The Met Office says disruption to transport, power lines and phone network coverage is likely in central and northern England, North Wales and also parts of Northern Ireland. And that's the 5 Live News.
This is 5 Live Sport with Steve Crossman.
And we are live from Old Trafford. It's half-time. Manchester United 1, Real Betis 1. It's also the first round of golf's Players' Championship at TPC Sawgrass in Florida. 2 Americans are setting the early pace, Ian Carter.
One of them, a very unfamiliar name. He's ranked 225 in the world. 30-year-old from Mississippi, Chad Ramey, round in a 64 today with no bogeys on his card. That's exceptional play on this demanding golf course. 8 under par. He leads by 1 from the man who won the Open just a couple of years ago at Royal St George's, Colin Morikawa, who I thought looked very impressive in his 7 under par 65, especially from tee to green. The leading Briton, by the way, is Justin Rose, who looked pretty solid today as well, a 3 under par 69, and he's in a share of 10th place.
But not Rory McIlroy's day.
Not Rory McIlroy's day by a long stretch, and this was his worst PGA Tour first round score since his 76 at the Masters in 2021. He was round in 76 again today. Bad start, bad finish, not great in the middle, and he admitted that he is struggling with a new driver so far this year. Here's what he had to say after his round.
I mean, I made a good birdie on 11 and sort of, was solid enough. Missed a couple of chances and then...
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, the 3-putt on 16 was probably the one that, sort of stopped any momentum. Hit a really good shot out of the pine straw there and, didn't capitalize on that. And I feel like this is as penal as I've seen it out of the rough for a long time. I think you'd have to go back to when the tournament was played in May, when we were in Bermuda rough, for it to be as penal as that. So yeah, you don't hit it on the fairway here, you're going to struggle.
Rory McIlroy will have commentary of the 3rd and 4th rounds of the Players from 8 p.m. on Saturday, 8:45 on Sunday on 5 Sports Extra. Let's go coast to coast, shall we? Tennis, first round action at Indian Wells, and we're about to see Emma Raducanu, Russell Fuller.
Yes, we will very shortly have an Emma Raducanu onto the centre court here, which has room for 16,000 people. There's the music, so she is going to take to the court to play Danka Kovanic, having said to me yesterday that she was only hopeful of being able to play after a wrist problem which she first suffered late last year, flared back up again. This will be her first match since the Australian Open against the world number 62 from Montenegro in Danka Kovanic. Jack Draper already into the second round, only 56 minutes required for him as he beat the Swiss qualifier Leandro Reedy 6-1, 6-1, and in the second round he will play a fellow Briton in Dan Evans.
Russell, thank you very much. Commentary on 5 Sports Extra from 10 p.m. tonight. In Super League, 2nd and 3rd place teams are playing each other. You can listen now on 5 Sports Extra, half-time at the DW Stadium. Wigan Warriors trailed Catalan Dragons 12-2. There's a new episode of the EuroLeagues out on the Football Daily podcast feed on BBC Sounds right now. Earlier, Ali said, if you're a fan of the EuroLeagues, of course you're a fan of the EuroLeagues. Christophe Terreur, James Horncastle and Julian Arona with us, reflecting on this week's action in the Champions League, including PSG being knocked out by Bayern Munich. One big question up for debate, bear with us, can Lionel Messi still do it at the highest level?
Football is still teamwork sometimes. If you build a whole team around Lionel Messi like Argentina did, it might still work, but I don't see it anymore, to be fair. I haven't won any of the biggest awards yet. When you've won everything, is it then still to push yourself and to see that you're outrun sometimes? I don't know what's going on in his mind. most players want to retire at that top, but if you keep on pushing that, you come into not feeling right. So maybe in some of the games when you have a full team that is working socks off for Messi, it could still happen. Sometimes that moment of brilliance, but maybe we should all forget those individuals and not focus on these individuals anymore and go to teams.
The only thing I would add to that is PSG remind me of Argentina pre-Scaloni, where there isn't a structure, where there isn't competence really around, where there isn't a shared idea. You have this kind of half measure at the moment between what Jules was talking about. Do we go in a different direction? We brought in Luis Campos, we're signing young players, but hang on a minute, we've still got the superstars who were part of the previous model. And, you know, at Argentina, everything that was around Messi, but also just a coach who was in sync with the players, knew how to get the best out of the players, knew how to change things game in game. And we saw what that delivered with Messi, that he can still be as outstanding now as he was a few years ago. Not to the absolute peak, but still be the best, most influential player in the world in a way that Cristiano is not.
I just don't think you can compare the run that Argentina had in the World Cup and the team that they faced, at least certainly until up to the final, with playing Bayern Munich, then Manchester City, then Napoli, then Real Madrid or Liverpool, those kind of clubs in the Champions League. It's the level is
the disrespect for Australian football on this show right now. Julien Laurens will never be allowed to go on tour or go on a podcast or a TV show in Australia. On the back of
this agenda is outrageous. Yeah. Jules, is he basically Alexander the Great? Is he weeping because there are no more worlds to conquer?
I don't know. I think if he can win another Champions League, of course he would. But really, yesterday watching him, I really wondered if at times he must know deep inside. I mean, he's the greatest player of all time. We all know when we play badly, whatever the level and the league that we are playing in, you know. And I think you know when you're not good enough anymore to play 11-a-side with your mates and you have to go down to 7-a-side, maybe more 5-a-side with the over 60s, because you're not good enough anymore to play with the under 30s. Yesterday, not everything was bad in what he did, but you could tell clearly that he could not influence the game. Even the cross by Nuno Mendes in the first half, where he should still be ahead of his defender. And it's a good tackle in the end, although he should have scored that goal. And he would have scored it before. And I think there must be a realization for all those top players at some point, do you know what, I don't have the impact I want to have on those games anymore because time is catching up with me, and maybe that's the time for him as well. I don't know, but I love him, and I would love to see him still being very successful at club level. I don't know if that is possible in the last stage of the Champions League for any team.
And nobody's allowed even to tell him that he's not good enough, because nobody who's still alive has ever been as good as him. So he has to tell it himself, I think. If he feels it, he must take the decision. But going on to James, I thought the World Cup, I haven't seen any stats, but I had the feeling that the World Cup was also played at a little lower pace than what you're seeing in the Champions League, to be fair. So, yeah, build a team around him and maybe he will do it, but PSG will have to make that decision, I think.
Christophe Terreur ending that there, the EuroLeague's team. You can listen to the full version of the pod right now via the Football Daily feed on BBC Sounds. We're live here inside Old Trafford. We've got René Merlenstein with us in the studio. René, do you think Manchester United just didn't put the foot down enough at 1-0? Is that why they are where they are?
Yeah. I think when you got that goal, that early goal that everybody wants, you want to keep them under pressure. But to be able to do that, you need to be really good and precise within possession. You can't have simple and easy turnovers, and that is basically what gives Real Betis the opportunity to get into the game. And that has to sharpen up in the second half. I'm sure that Ten Hag will tell that his players, don't give easy possession away, keep the ball, and get the noses in front again and keep the pressure on.
Rene, thank you very much for the time being. The snow just continues to swirl around Old Trafford. It is genuinely beautiful how it just gusts around. It's settled down a little bit during the first half, and it's coming down with force yet again. You'll have heard the cheers there as the Manchester United players retake the field. They'll be attacking the Stretford end in this second half. We're almost ready to go. Leon Osman is with Ali Brucepool.
Thank you, Steve. There's going to be a change from Manchester United at half-time. 9 outfield players plus David De Gea are on the pitch. Aaron Wan-Bissaka's been going through an extensive warm-up routine at half-time. I can see the fourth official is coming out with the numbers board, and Diogo Dalot has not reappeared for Manchester United. So that'll be the change at right back. Real Betis keep the same 11. Wan-Bissaka's just sorting out the taping around the ankles, the shoelaces and everything else before we get underway for the second half, but he needs to get out there because the referee is ready to go. So David De Gea in goal, who's probably been the sloppiest, or one of the sloppiest of the Manchester United players in possession of the ball this evening. Some loose passing from him. Wan-Bissaka will be at right back. Rafael Varane, Lisandro Martinez and Luke Shaw make up the back four. Casemiro and Fred, the midfield shield in front of them. Anthony wide on the right, Marcus Rashford wide on the left. Wout Weghorst has had some chances this evening at centre forward but couldn't take them, and Bruno Fernandes, the skipper, in behind. Real Betis have Claudio Bravo in goal, Yusuf Sabali, German Petzela, Luis Felipe and the Brazilian Abner at left back. Second half underway. Real Betis have kicked off, and they've been a bit sloppy in possession early on in the second half. Marcus Rashford, he's trying to make a darting little run in towards the edge of the box, stopped in his tracks by Guido Rodriguez, who's playing in central midfield alongside William Carvalho. Luis Enrique, who's wide right, is chasing a ball. Rafael Varane comes across to cut it out. 41-year-old Joaquin is the captain for Real Betis. Juanmi, wide on the left, who had one season at Southampton, not a successful one a few years back under Ronald Koeman. He created the goal with his chest control, a little bit of arm in there as well. Curling ball to Iosi Perez, on loan from Leicester at Real Betis. This is his 14th career appearance against Manchester United, and tonight his first goal against them, his first goal for Betis as well. Manchester United in the red shirts, white shorts, black socks, playing towards the Stretford end from right to left as we look at it from our commentary position. Wan-Bissaka then into the action, plays it out to Anthony. Just as we look across the pitch, you can see that lots of fans haven't quite made it back after the half-time refreshment, so quite a few empty red and white seats over on the opposite side of the ground. Fred playing the ball back to Luke Shaw just inside the Betis half. Betis in green and white stripes, mainly a white back to the shirt, black numbers on those, black shorts and green socks, and they've been really well supported here this evening. Minute and a half into the second half. You are listening on 5 Live, BBC Radio Manchester and BBC Sounds this evening. The former Manchester City boss Manuel Pellegrini out on the touchline in charge of Real Betis, arms crossed, wrapped up warm, and the grey hair looking ever so slightly dishevelled from Manuel Pellegrini, but certainly not his team's performance. Fred under pressure from Perez, plays to Shaw. Ball with David De Gea. I've been talking for a couple of minutes at the start of this first half. Everyone else is going to think Leon Osman's still eating as Martinez gets himself out of the tight spot and finds Luke Shaw. Hello, Leon.
Hi. I did need an extra moment, I've got to be honest. The half-time refreshments were pretty enjoyable. So, yeah, just, you know, it's as late to get back into it as Manchester United. I think that, you know, as we said in that first half, Manchester United got on top very early in the game and just took a backward step rather than a forward step at that point. And I'm sure that'll be one of the messages from Erik ten Hag at half-time. At the moment, we take control of the second half, because there will come a moment. Let's push forward. Let's make sure we take advantage. Let's be clinical. Let's be good in possession. Let's make every pass count.
Let's see if they can do it here. They've won the ball off Betis. Well, that's not a great ball from Weghorst to Rashford. Casemiro's mopped things up, as he so often does. Back to Martinez. His crossfield pass is blocked by Iosi Perez at close range, and it's out for a throw-in to Manchester United wide on the left. So this is the first leg of these last 16 ties. Next week, Manchester United will be in Seville. We will be there with them as well to bring you commentary of the second leg. Here's Varane inside his own half. Juanmi chases the back pass. David De Gea side foots the ball out to Bruno Fernandes in the right back position. He immediately returns it to De Gea. De Gea takes a couple of touches, and at the moment Perez just stands off him. So De Gea Plays to his left to Martinez, back to De Gea again. This time Perez gives chase. De Gea to Fernandez again in that right back position. Juanmi in front of him. That's a risky ball out. It's worked. Enrique could have intercepted that, but Luke Shaw's now away and he's moving at speed into the Betis half. Ball forward is half blocked, volleyed away by Sabali on the edge of the penalty area. Wan-Bissaka tries to win the header. Casemiro shouts my ball, or whatever that is in Brazilian. It's worked out to Fernandez on the right. Here's Wan-Bissaka, little cut back in the box, and no one is there to run onto it and try and smash it in from the edge of the area. Cleared away. That's a Manchester United throw.
Yeah, it wasn't the worst ball from Wan-Bissaka. The passing lane or the crossing lane across was pretty tight, looked quite blocked, so he just left it in a good area, hoping an attacking midfielder would be coming onto it. But as Bruno Fernandes was in that right-hand pocket, helping to set up that attack, there was nobody in that position. And you know, you talk about risk reward with a pass. We've just seen a very risky pass from Bruno Fernandes that nearly got a big reward from Manchester United. And I think that's been a little bit in their game in the first half. I think they've been a little bit safe with a couple of their passes when they could play people in. I think Marcus Rashford in particular has been in some really good positions, had people pick their head up and been brave enough to play those passes earlier. So I'll be interested to see if they start risking the ball a bit more in the second half.
Erik ten Hag's changes in games are always interesting and often very effective. Did you see anything in particular in that first half that makes you realise why he's put Wan-Bissaka on for Dalot, Leon?
Nothing tactically. I was asking myself, did Juanmi, really win that battle against Dalot in the first half? I don't think he did. Was there a real concern down that side of the pitch? Only when the goalkeeper De Gea gave the ball away and they attacked down that area of the field. So I would expect it maybe an injury that's forced that change.
Varane's header away. Here's Carvalho, who's a tall, imposing figure in the Betis midfield. Fernandes wins a tackle for Manchester United, stabs a little ball to Fred inside his own half. Fred slips as he plays this one forward, chested down by Petzela, thumps it forward. Wan-Bissaka's going to let that bounce. Juanmi is behind him, but Wan-Bissaka can very calmly let that roll out for a throw-in to Manchester United. Varane forward to Bruno Fernandes, quickly back to Varane again. Fernandes comes racing towards him and says, give it back to me. Plays it round the corner to Anthony. Lovely turn on Abner. Too quick for Abner, who comes in with the challenge. And that is a free kick for Manchester United. He caught Anthony. Played back to Varane. Manchester United's goal in this game, the early goal, came from a quick free kick. Casemiro very alert to find Marcus Rashford to get the move going, which Rashford eventually finished off. Fernandes on the turn inside the Betis half. Finds Anthony, corner of the Betis box, onto the left foot, hits the colour! He's done it again! A couple of weeks ago he whipped one in against Barcelona. This one a little bit further out. Sweet strike with the left foot, and Claudio Bravo, as soon as it left his boot, knew he was beaten. Stunning goal. Manchester United 2, Real Betis 1.
Well, it's a terrific goal. Really is. Asking for a bit more from him at times, Anthony, because he can frustrate and delight in equal measures within a game. Sometimes he does some really sloppy things, sometimes he doesn't beat his man, but when he does it right, wow, he does it really well. And that is absolutely out of the top draw. Gets the ball from Bruno Fernandes on probably about 5 yards away from the corner of the Real Betis penalty area, and he just cuts back onto that right foot. 1 touch, 2 touch, 3 touch onto that left foot. Just takes it away from Abner, who should definitely try to get a bit closer to him to stop that shot, and then he just sets it off, and he sets it up on the outside of the far post, allowing it to just always bend back in, and gives Claudio Bravo absolutely no chance. Brilliant Manchester United goal.
So here's a question for you aesthetically, Leon, in terms of the enjoyment of watching football. Do you prefer it when a goalkeeper goes full stretch and almost gets there and it beats him in the top corner, or do you prefer it when he just stands there hopelessly, knows he's beaten, and just watches it sail past him?
I like it when they dive, to be honest, and I think goalkeepers should have to dive for everything. I think that should be a law within the game.
Juventus 1, Freiburg 0. Early goal in the second half for Juventus. Angel Di Maria has scored it. I think I read that Paul Pogba was left out of the squad for that one for disciplinary reasons, former Manchester United man. 8 minutes gone, second half. Manchester United back in front. Anthony, big money signing in the summer. Erik ten Hag knows what he's all about. And in this competition, in the knockout stages, as I said, really important goal, good finish against Barcelona a couple of weeks ago, and that one was right out of the top draw. Now let's see if Manchester United can go on from that. Weghorst is fouled inside the Real Betis half, And Manchester United get themselves a free kick. Erik ten Hag going with the same starting 11 tonight that lost the game 7-0 at Anfield on Sunday. Now the one change at half-time with Wan-Bissaka on for Diogo Dalot. Casemiro stands over the free kick, waiting to take it. Betis think he's wasting time. He's sort of dummied to take it 3 or 4 times and then threads it through the eye of a needle there to find Bruno Fernandes. Up towards Fred, back to Fernandes. Cushion ball forward, can't find Weghorst. Casemiro's first time ball finds Rashford quite brilliantly, and you can see the Manchester United fans just getting to their feet as Rashford gets on the ball. They're expecting something special every single time. He's gone back to Casemiro. Casemiro wide to Rashford. How's he kept that in? No, he hasn't. He flicked it from his right foot to his left foot and very nearly got away down the left-hand side. It'll be a throw-in to Real Betis.
Yeah, this next 5 or 10 minutes for Manchester United could be key. You mentioned it's the same 11 that started the game against Liverpool, started both halves against Liverpool pretty much, and they've gone ahead early in both halves here. In the first half, they didn't capitalise on that momentum, the crowd behind them. They just took their foot off the gas, allowed Real Betis to grow back into the game. Now let's see what they're made of. Let's see if they can take this 1-goal advantage and turn it into 2 and maybe even more.
Leading Betis by 2-1. Here's Fred wide to Rashford. Couldn't quite control it and yells at himself in frustration. He's out for another Betis throw. Sporting 2, Arsenal 2 earlier on. Larnaca 0, West Ham 2 in the Europa Conference League. All the best reaction, debate, analysis as always in the Football Daily podcast for you on the BBC Sounds app. Rashford chasing a ball down the left. Rodriguez plays it back to Petzela. Goes down so easily. I mean, he took a slight nudge from Wout Weghorst there. Weghorst is furious because he thinks Petzela's bought the free kick, and whether Weghorst has been booked for it can't be for the challenge, it must be for the reaction to that. Weghorst gets booked.
Yeah, it's for the reaction, and you can understand his frustration. There was absolutely nothing in that challenge. Petzela just waited for Weghorst to even offer the hint of a tackle and went down dead easily, and he's been inconsistent with that tonight, the referee, and that's what frustrates players on the pitch.
Betis trying to play out. Anthony chasing hard for Manchester United, makes the block and goes out for a Real Betis throw on the left. So 10 minutes gone in the second half. Manchester United leading Betis by 2-1. Just another little podcast plug for you as well. Fantasy 606 latest was out earlier on today. Your FPL game week 27 deadline's 11 o'clock on Saturday. So Fantasy 606 is worth a listen. I know Leon will certainly be doing that before he picks his team.
Absolutely. Who's the guest this week?
We had FPL Heisenberg on, who's a guy called Wes, who's a content creator and a fantasy football expert. And I've got to say, Leon, I learned a fair bit.
Well, you need it.
Here's Anthony, who scored this brilliant goal to get Manchester United in front. Snow still swirling around inside Old Trafford. Wan-Bissaka's released down the right. Clever ball from him, finds Bruno Fernandes. First time cross right across the face of goal. Rashford lurking at the far post, and it's cleared away by Sabali and behind for a Manchester United corner.
Oh, good play from Manchester United, getting overlaps on the far side of the pitch. And if there's one thing to be critical of Marcus Rashford at the moment, it's when the ball's on the opposite side of the pitch, he has to be in at the back post for a tap-in. If that ball gets flashed across like was there from Bruno Fernandes, he can't be where he was on the corner of the 18-yard box waiting for something to come out. Get yourself in that far post, you'll get an extra 5 goals.
Good noise inside Old Trafford. Corner from Luke Shaw into the near post, headed in! Manchester United now lead by 3-1. It's the skipper Bruno Fernandes who made the run, who met the header powerfully. What a response from him, because he was one of those, of course, heavily criticised after the 7-0 defeat at Anfield. Bruno Fernandes scores to make it Manchester United 3, Real Betis 1.
Yeah, very simple from Manchester United, but so effective. The outswinger from Luke Shaw, he just delivers it probably on line with the front post, maybe 8 or 9 yards out. Bruno Fernandes just makes a simple run into that position, completely unmarked. Nobody from El Betis even considers going with him at all. Gets a clean header straight at Claudio Bravo, if I'm being completely honest, and he just pushes it up into the top and into the roof of his net. Completely unmarked, Bruno Fernandes. It's a good, powerful header. The power is what probably beats the goalkeeper in the end. Should he do better? Maybe he can get his hands up above his face quicker, but take nothing away from Manchester United. Good delivery, very powerful header, and a very good reaction from the captain, who's been under a bit of pressure this week certainly responded in the right way.
Real Betis immediately make a couple of changes. 3-1 down. Wide forward Aitor Ruibal comes on, and Sergio Canales, who's missed the last couple of games through injury, key player for them, Manuel Pellegrini, has decided it's time to get him into the game. Considering he's back from injury, maybe he could only manage half an hour or so, and that's what he's got to try and see if he can help Real Betis out. So Manchester United in this first leg leading by 3-1. Players to come off: Luis Enrique and Joaquin, the two to come off for Real Betis. Manchester United leading them by 3-1. When you make that run, Leon, like Bruno Fernandes made, once you realise you're free and clear, you're just thinking, just deliver that ball into the right spot because I'm going to score.
Well, generally, because things happen so quickly, you set off as the delivery's coming in. It's not please deliver it or I hope it's coming on me. You generally end up meeting it as it arrives. So things happen very quickly, but you just know you're getting in there and you just want to make good contact, get it on target, because if you get it on target, the goalkeeper's got to save it, and he didn't there. And Bruno Fernandes scores a good header.
Sevilla 1, Fenerbahce 0. Wan-Bissaka tries a shot with his right foot. That's blocked. The ball runs to Anthony. Anthony wide on the right, but inside the penalty area with his left foot. Low cross, and Claudio Bravo's down and smothers it at his near post. So half an hour to go tonight at Old Trafford. Manchester United leading Real Betis by 3-1. Juventus a goal up, and Sevilla a goal up in the 8 o'clock kickoffs this evening. Bravo clears with his right foot. European commentaries next week, I've mentioned, will be in Seville for the second leg of this one. Tuesday night, Manchester City trying to finish the job against RB Leipzig. That one live from the Etihad Stadium will start 1-1. And then on Wednesday night, can Liverpool pull off the seemingly impossible, certainly improbable 5-2 down away to Real Madrid? We'll have full commentary on that one as well. Betis on the ball inside the Manchester United half. Fred makes himself busy, makes a couple of tackles. That's a risky one because it's right on the edge of the box, if not in the box. Iosi Perez is down and looks to be hurt. Referee had a decent view and didn't give anything. VAR will be having a look. Play continues at the moment with Perez still down in a heap inside the Manchester United penalty area, and the ball is at the feet of William Carvalho. Juventus 1, Freiburg 1. So Freiburg have an equaliser in Italy this evening. Referee now stops the game, and we're going to have a look at Iosi Perez, and Leon will have another look at the replay monitor to see if there was anything in the challenge from Fred right on the edge of the Manchester United box.
I haven't seen it back, but there's always a concern when a player sort of steps across and then points at the ball as if he's trying to convince the referee. There was a tackle. It's one of those. He's actually made contact with the foot of Perez and the ball at the same time. So is that a good tackle? I think so. I mean, in the modern game, any contact with the opposite number generally leads to a free kick, but I think that should be deemed as a good tackle, and the referee seemed it that way.
Fred steps in, doesn't he, and gets his foot between the ball and Perez's foot, and then Perez basically kicks the back of Fred's leg, and it was just outside the penalty area as well. Referees called it right. Players back underway. Manchester United leading Real Betis by 3-1. Manchester United having enjoyed some good runs in this competition in recent seasons. Winners under Jose Mourinho, of course, in 2017, 3 years later. Under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, made the semi-finals and lost to Sevilla, then lost the final to Villarreal the year after on penalties. Here's Wan-Bissaka playing it back to Anthony. Bruno Fernandes to Anthony. Scoop finish over the bar. That was nearly delightful.
It was, and I mean, when you get in this position, it's really good play down that right-hand side. Wan-Bissaka gets up and to advance. He's played it back to Anthony, plays a lovely 1-2 with Bruno Fernandes, and when you get in that position, you sort of feel you have to finish yourself because you've been involved in good play, but if he could have just passed it to his side, he had Fred, he had Weghorst, and he had Marcus Rashford all in a good position just for a tap-in, probably 6 or 7 yards out. It would have made the goal even more special as a team. He went to chip the goalkeeper and scooped it right over the top of the bar. Big chance again for United.
Just looking at my Europa League app, I think that Freiburg goal has been ruled out by VAR, so Juventus now lead Freiburg again, or continue to lead Freiburg.
Re-lead?
Yeah, exactly. Don't know where I was going with that. Juventus 1, Freiburg 0. Emma Raducanu on court in California. Commentary on the tennis on Radio 5 Sports Extra tonight after Wigan against Catalan in the Super League. Free kick for Real Betis inside their own half. Double change coming for Manchester United. Tyrell Malacia will come on, and so will Jadon Sancho. Those two in conversation on the side of the pitch here. Nice situation to come on into as well, with United having stepped on the gas in the second half and starting to assert their authority. Anthony's in the mood, chasing hard down the right. Ball goes out for a Manchester United throw. And here comes the change, and Real Betis are going to make a change of their own, and we're going to see the big centre forward Borja Iglesias come on for them. Luke Shaw's coming off. Let's check in on the Super League tonight. Dave Woods watching the game between Wigan and Catalan.
Midway through the second half, it's Wigan 10, Catalan 12. Catalan had 12-0 at one stage, but Wigan have battled back. A try and 3 goals from Harry Smith, and they've got their tails up at the moment. Wigan 10, Catalan 12.
Marcus Rashford gets a rest. Luke Shaw gets a rest. Those two are off. Malacia on at left back, and Jadon Sancho into the action as well. Coming on for Real Betis, the hugely experienced Mexican international Andres Guardado, one of very few men to have played in 5 World Cups for his country, which he achieved in Qatar before the end of the year. So he comes on. That's another change for Real Betis, and Iosi Perez was the man to be replaced by Borja Iglesias, who is a well-built centre forward. Let's describe him like that. Tall, wide, physically imposing. 10 goals to his name this season.
It's like our Gary Flintoff, who sat beside me, taking up most of my seat.
Anthony trying to wriggle out of a tight spot down by the corner flag. The Betis clearance nearly ran to Weghorst. This one only finds Wan-Bissaka. Bruno Fernandes with a miscontrol. Carvalho plays out from the back, wide to the left, and here's Juanmi. There's the hulking figure of Iglesias making a run through the middle. But Betis decide to play back. Now it goes down the left-hand side. That's beyond Juanmi. Varane comes across to cover, just turns, plays a little pass up the right-hand side to Casemiro, spots Bruno Fernandes in space inside the Manchester United half, and Tyrell Malacia immediately on his bike. Sprinting forward, plays it to Jadon Sancho. Sancho, having taken up position wide on the left, looking for a little 1-2 with Fred. Fred gets the touch, can't find Sancho again. Betis will try and play out, easily intercepted by Lisandro Martinez, and at the moment Manchester United are in total control, leading by 3-1. Oh, great skills from Martinez, opens things up for the home team. Casemiro trying to find Fred with a straight ball down the middle. That one's intercepted. Played across by Guardado, wide to the left. Stretching challenge from Canales, can't control the ball for the visitors, so Fred's onto it and plays it wide to Anthony. Back it comes to Wan-Bissaka, almost at the three-quarter point of the game. Bruno Fernandes, pacey ball into the feet of Fred. Fred turns away from the edge of the box, wide to Sancho. Sancho into the penalty area, 2 defenders in front of him, onto that right foot, drags it onto the left, still teasing those 2 defenders. Back it comes to Fred, strokes are finished, not enough on it. Claudio Bravo makes the save.
Yeah, good introduction for Jadon Sancho. He moves the ball so well, doesn't he? When he's inside that penalty area, defenders just can't touch him. He's stepping over, he's dragging it back. He's got 2 defenders, not sure whether to touch him, not sure whether to put a tackle in. Eventually picks out Fredu. Bit of a tame effort, easy one for the goalkeeper. But when we were talking about Manchester United, can they take control? They have done in this second half. They've not only took control of the ball, they've took control of territory. They've scored 2 goals. They continue to play in Betis' half. This is exactly the reaction we expected in that first half, but it's good to see them doing it in this second half.
Claudio Bravo playing out from the back for Betis. Guardado under pressure, not enough on it. Bruno Fernandes chases Bravo in quickly, but only as far as Anthony. Old Trafford wanting to shoot, but play is stopped because Claudio Bravo slid in to make the clearance, has stayed down. Bruno Fernandes has now got a yellow card. He thought Claudio Bravo was making a meal of it. The Betis players don't like that. They get involved as well. Wout Weghorst steps in to calm things down. The referee now has it under control. We'll have another little look on the monitor because for a second there, Bruno Fernandes thought he might be in to score a 4th for Manchester United. Leon.
Yeah, it's one of those. He's closed down the midfield, that it's been under hit, the pass back to Bravo, and you'd be disappointed if he didn't make an attempt to try and block that one or try and get something on the end of it. Bravo really does slide in, clears it past Bruno Fernandes. He does make contact with Bravo. In the modern game, it's definitely a yellow card. I don't think it's anything more, but you're always going to get a yellow card from that. And then obviously Betis just showing their frustration that tackle has been allowed, because it's just not allowed in the modern game to even tackle the goalkeeper in that way.
Yeah, Bruno Fernandes has launched himself, and when he first jumps, you think that's going to be a really bad one because his foot is in the air and it's coming down towards Bravo's shin. Then I think Fernandes realises what he might be about to do and sort of opens his boot up as if he's going to side foot the ball, and actually almost pulls the foot out and just strikes Bravo a glancing blow.
Yeah, he doesn't. He could have gone with the stud showing, but he doesn't. As I said, the modern footballer make those tackles differently. They know, they try and be a bit more cute about it. Years ago, you just smash through the goalkeeper given the opportunity, but you'd get sent off for that these days. So I'd be disappointed had he not made the attempt, because if he blocks that clearance there, it's a goal for Manchester United. He's just unlucky that it just snuck past him. Good goalkeeping.
Bruno Fernandes on the yellow card, Wout Weghorst on the yellow card. Casemiro is the one who's got to watch out if he doesn't want to miss the second leg of this tie. Bruno Fernandes, inch-perfect pass into the feet of Anthony. Anthony curling cross with his left foot towards the far post, chested down by Sancho. Malacia comes hurtling forward on the left. Sancho tries to play a clever little one between two defenders. It's blocked, and then Sancho goes to win it back. Cleared by Petzela, who wanted a free kick, doesn't get it, throw in for Manchester United.
The crowd are cheering there, because that was a very similar thing that happened to Wout Weghorst 10 minutes ago, where Weghorst reacted badly to the non-free kick or free kick that was given and got booked. And, you know, it was very similar there. The referee made a completely different decision this time, so that's where players get frustrated.
Casemiro's ball to the left, controlled by Malacia. Sancho, lovely first touch, silky turn and pass back to Casemiro, who's converted it for 2 points, miles over the crossbar, but right in between the sticks, actually, if there had been a rugby post at that end of the ground. Manchester United leading Real Betis by 3-1. A perfect tee up for a Rugby Union Daily podcast plug as well. Six Nations on the way this weekend. England against France, commentary on 5 Live on Saturday afternoon. Scotland, Ireland at 4 o'clock on Sports Extra on Sunday afternoon. And during match weeks, Rugby Union Daily podcast is the place to go to get you ready for your weekend of Six Nations rugby. Here's Petzela for Betis. Low pass fizzed out to Sabali, but a keepy up from him under the nose of his manager. Gets away from Sancho. Ball is played back to Guardado, across to Carvalho, just inside his own half, and Manchester United with everyone behind the ball, and now a 2-goal cushion in the tie, leading Betis by 3-1. Ball down the right, Malacia in, and it's out for a throw-in to Betis, which Sabali comes jogging back to take. Holds the ball in his gloved hands. Snow has eased off just a little, but you can still see it sort of drifting and floating underneath the floodlights here. Here's Martinez, little chip ball into the feet of Casemiro. Casemiro looking for the one over the top towards Anthony. Lets it run beyond him. Abner gives chase. Anthony gets there first. Finds Bruno Fernandes. Fernandes asking a lot of Wan-Bissaka, but Wan-Bissaka will get there on the right. First time ball in. Volleyed away by Luis Felipe, and here's Anthony again. Anthony towards Bruno Fernandes, linking up nicely that pair in this second half. Fernandes looking for Anthony again. Edge of the box, he's going to try it again with his left foot. Goes low this time and curls it well wide. Goal kick for Real Betis. Leon Osman.
He's enjoying himself. Anthony's gotten more and more involved as the games go on. More influence on the game, and Bruno Fernandes has drifted out there. And you know, quite often we talk about Manchester United and how much of a threat they are down the left-hand side with Marcus Rashford and Luke Shaw. But tonight, it's been all that right-hand side, mostly through Anthony and Bruno going out there. They've changed the right back. It's been Dalot and Wan-Bissaka, but either way, that's where the threat has come.
Real Betis again playing out from the back. Manchester United trying to close it down. Petzela wide to Sabali. Sabali's ball forward down the right here to Canales. Canales chased by Fernandes, not making it easy for Betis here, and for once the travelling support has gone quiet away to our right. Petzela on the ball again, edge of the penalty area, comes jogging forward. Runners making moves ahead. Here's Iglesias, plays back to Sabali. Petzela. Manchester United stand off just for now, and then Guardado, who's dropped in between his two centre-backs in the green and white shirts of Real Betis, fires a ball forward. Wan-Bissaka leaps, chest it down. He's lost it here to Juanmi, who uses Iglesias to play a 1-2. Comes out to the right-hand side here to Ruibal. Ruibal's going to take on Malacia. Gets a block in with his left leg. The ball bounces, still in play down by the byline, and Malacia wins the next one as well. Heads it out for a throw into Betis.
Really good defending that from Malacia. Found himself completely 1v1, had no cover, nobody coming over to help him inside his own penalty area, and yet really marshalled Ruibal perfectly, eventually blocking an attempted cross. Really good play.
Ball played back towards the halfway line for Betis, chested down by Luis Felipe. Carvalho takes it off him. Forward here to Canales. Manchester United quite happy with this. They don't mind Real Betis having the ball as long as they're not causing a threat and just taking a breath themselves. Leading this game by 3-1. 5 Live Sport with you through until 10:30 this evening before Colin Murray will take over. Ball back to Claudio Bravo, but as I said, from 10 o'clock tonight, the tennis at Indian Wells will be on Sports Extra for you this evening. Here's Canales to Abner on the left. Iglesias, the centre forward, is pulled out wide, gets a touch, runs back towards the halfway line, floats a pass down the inside left channel. Varane controls it. He's got Juanmi breathing down his neck, but Varane holds him off, plays it to Martinez. A little bit of cat and mouse going on here at the moment, and De Gea with a ball out to the left to Malacia. Malacia's pass is deflected but not into the path of Fred, and then Sancho in with a tackle, and it's out for a throw-in to Manchester United. Erik ten Hag will be happy, Leon, if Manchester United control it and keep the 2-goal cushion. What he won't want is any switching off and letting Betis back into this game like they did in the first half.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there are different ways of controlling a game. You can control it in possession or you can control it out of possession.
Here we go. This is in possession. Fred gets the pass from Fernandez, almost hits Weghorst with that ball, falls to Weghorst, scuffs the finish, and it loops up into the arms of Claudio Bravo. It's not happening for Wout Weghorst. It was a rather fortuitous chance that came to him, but when it fell to him, you felt sure he was going to curl it into the bottom corner. Maybe it got half a block on it, but in the end, the ball has just bounced like a tennis ball into the arms of Claudio Bravo.
Yeah, it was Felipe who just looking like he'd give the opportunity away himself with a poor clearance. Just managed to scramble enough to get up just to put a block on that Wout Weghorst effort to goal. I mean, Weghorst probably thought he'd put another goal on the United tally tonight, but if it had gone to the near post, he certainly probably would have. He went for the far post and gave the defender an opportunity to get a block on it.
1 goal in 15 appearances so far. This is the 15th tonight. All of them starts for Wout Weghorst, and that came in the first leg of the League Cup semi-final against Nottingham Forest. Had some good chances tonight. There was an early one that was offside, but there was another ball from Luke Shaw that came into the near post, and that one went wide. Block on that one, the most recent one from Felipe. Weghorst, though, as ever, working hard, closing down Claudio Bravo here. Bravo clears just in time. Martinez brings it down on the volley to Fred. Casemiro's got so much space to work with there. Nice pass. Anthony can't control it. Slaps his thigh in frustration, and Bravo has the ball in both hands. Manchester United 3, Real Betis 1. How much belief in this Betis team as well that they can maybe find themselves a goal? If they went away with a 3-2 defeat, Leon Osman, I think, they'd probably think, well, we can turn that around.
I think if they go away at 3-1, I think they'll believe they can turn it around. They've got Iglesias, who's come on now, usually starts games. He's their top scorer. They've obviously had a different plan with regards to coming to Old Trafford. Canales is back and fit. He's only just getting back to his fitness now. He's scored 6 goals this season. So if they could take this scoreline back, I think they'd take their chances that they can get momentum, that they can get United on the back foot, especially having seen United concede 7 recently.
Betis potentially, though, could concede a 4th as United come forward. Fernandez tries a clever back heel, doesn't find Weghorst. Here's Sabali. Fernandez on the yellow card, got to be careful. Gets the ball, though, from Sancho's tackle. Bruno Fernandez into that Betis penalty area. Thought Sancho was on the outside. Sancho had actually stopped behind him, so the pass was to no one. Clearance from Betis only as far as Casemiro's definitely back on it tonight after a very unusually poor performance from him, you'd have to say, on Sunday. Here he is from the throw-in, possibly. Just lets that ball run across him. Petzela read it just in time to get there first. Poor ball out, though. Fernandez intercepts Guardado. Plays a pass across to Carvalho. Back to the edge of the box here to Felipe. Goalkeeper Bravo. Under pressure from Fred. clears. Wan-Bissaka's header goes back into his own half. Varane has to give chase, gets there and just knocks the ball into the stands for a Real Betis throw. Shakhtar 1, Feyenoord 0. Rakitsky with the goal. It's probably how you pronounce it, Leon, something like that. Here come Manchester United. Oh, he's got space, Weghorst, to find Anthony. It's one-on-one. Bravo makes half a block, and the ball goes just wide of the right-hand post and actually doesn't even go out for the corner. Petzela back in time to clear it away for a throw in. Manchester United should be further ahead.
They should, and it's that thing of not taking chances, not being clinical when you get those crucial moments. That's a lovely bit of play from Weghorst. Wins the ball on the halfway line, releases Anthony into the position he wants to have the ball, opening his left foot up. Goalkeeper rushing out at him, just probably on the edge of the penalty area.
Bruno Fernandes looking for Weghorst. The ball's just too far ahead of him, and Petzela is able to make the interception. Now, this is a crucial moment for Manchester United. If they can get a fourth, then they will feel that they're in very good shape going to Spain next week. And Betis at the moment just look like they could be there for the taking. They're about to make another change. Manchester United are going to make a double change as well. Scott McTominay's coming on. The young Uruguayan Facundo Pellistri is coming on. Willian Jose coming on for Real Betis. And Manchester United are going to take this corner before they make their double change. Just over 10 minutes to go in the second half here at Old Trafford. Manchester United 3, Real Betis 1. On 5 Live BBC Sounds and BBC Radio Manchester. Fernandez's corner, headed away to the edge of the box. Sancho backpedals, controls it on his right thigh, being hassled and harried by Ruibal. Plays back to Wan-Bissaka, who's got a couple of Betis players for company. Got to be careful not to lose it there. He doesn't. Martinez sees Jadon Sancho in acres of space here on the left. Chests it down casually. Casemiro trying to support. Will Sancho use him? He'll try to. Casemiro with the cross at the near post. Then he goes flying off the pitch, and the ball goes behind for a Manchester United corner. Quickly to check in on the tennis at Indian Wells. Here's Russell Fuller.
Good start by Emma Raducanu. A solid first set, which he's taken 6-2 against Danka Kovanic of Montenegro. No strapping on those worrisome wrists today.
Thank you, Russell. Andy Murray in action later on against Thomas Etcheverry this evening from 10 o'clock tonight on Radio 5 Sports Extra is where you will find your tennis commentary with Russell and the team. Fred's coming off, Scott McTominay's coming on, and Anthony, who absolutely lit up Old Trafford tonight, and we're actually going to see it as he comes off the field again, Leon. His goal, Anthony's curling left-footed effort, which got Manchester United back in front, sees him receive warm applause from the Manchester United fans here in the Sir Bobby Charlton stand, and Facundo Pellistri will come on to replace him. Corner then for Manchester United. Down at the Stretford end, Bruno Fernandes receiving plenty of encouragement here from the United fans close to him. With his right foot, low ball back to the edge of the box, controlled by Pellistri. Very first touch after coming on, chased by 2 players in the green and white shirts, uses his pace to get away. Cut back, oh, McTominay's hit the post! Weghorst! Finally! Wout Weghorst sticks it away! And look at the reaction from the big Dutchman! He's overjoyed, he sprints away from his teammates, he slides on his knees. A couple of Manchester United fans in front of us high-five. They can't quite believe it. I'm not sure Weghorst can believe it, but it's a good finish. He's delighted, and Manchester United take total control of this tie. They lead Betis by 4-1.
You don't see a 4th goal celebrated like that very often, but you can just see how much it means to Wout Weghorst to finally get back on the score sheet for Manchester United. And just seeing a double substitution, and when you send subs on and you ask for an instant reaction and an instant impact, boy, did he just get one. Eric Ten Hag. Corner from Bruno Fernandes to the edge of the penalty area to Pellistri, who takes a touch. I thought he maybe should have hit it, I thought maybe he should have passed it, and he took like a circular route. He went to the corner of the penalty area, he went to the touchline, he got to the 6-yard box again in a big circular motion with players on him showing real skill and ability. And once he does, he pulls it back to McTominay, who's also just entered the field. His first touch is on target with a shot. Goalkeeper makes the save, and it just falls lovely to a striker right in the middle of the goal, 6 yards out, who falls to the floor as he hits it, but it doesn't miss the target and gets the goal he wants. Brilliant finish, brilliant play from the substitutes.
Manchester United really have stepped it up a gear or two in this second half, now leading Real Betis by 4-1. getting some lovely replays of the Weghorst celebrations, made slightly more picturesque and perfect by the falling snow around him as well. Will they go looking for a fifth? It looks like they're in the mood. Weghorst is chasing again. Betis have the ball on the edge of their own penalty area, and they start to play out from the back. Guardado has it, closed down by Bruno Fernandes. Some response then by Manchester United tonight. One of the worst defeats in the club's history on Sunday, equaling their record ever defeat, 7-0 against Liverpool. Tonight they lead Betis by 4-1. Back in the saddle and back in the groove, Leon.
Absolutely, and they started both halves very well. It's little critical of the way they didn't go on and take control and score number 2 and 3 in the first half. You can't say that of them in the second half. They've done really well, played most of the game in the Betis half, scored goals as and when they've been able to, missed some opportunities as well. But 4-1 is a good scoreline in this tie for Manchester United.
High floated ball wide to the left for Betis. Good defended by Wan-Bissaka initially. Another cross comes into the Manchester United box, and it's headed forward by Ballin, gently into the arms of David De Gea. Sevilla leading Fenerbahce by 1-0. Juventus leading Freiburg by 1-0, and Shakhtar leading Feyenoord by 1-0 in the other 8 o'clock kickoffs in the Europa League this evening. Fernandes cross in, very nearly found Weghorst again. Falls to Sancho, hits the shot first time, that's blocked. Ball is just outside the Betis penalty. Weghorst is, I was about to say he's done so well to win it, he's actually committed a foul, and Real Betis will get themselves a free kick. 5 minutes remaining. Manchester United 4, Real Betis 1. Football on the way this weekend for you. Friday Football Social, as always, from 7 o'clock tomorrow night to build you up to the weekend. 3 o'clock on Saturday on 5 Live. Leeds against Brighton, with all the goals as they go in up and down the country. Crystal Palace against Manchester City at 5:30. We'll start on Radio 5 Sports Extra. England, France in the Six Nations will be on 5 Live. Robbie and Chris will take the calls on 6:06 after the day's football action. And then Sunday, Fulham Arsenal at 2 o'clock on 5 Live. Manchester United against Southampton, if you want that one, in full on Radio 5 Sports Extra. Newcastle Wolves at 4:30. Commentary on that one on 5 Live as Betis knock the ball about. Manchester United win it on the halfway line. They're going looking for a fifth here. Fernandes finds McTominay. Not a great first touch from McTominay. Gets a second opportunity. Can't find Sancho with the pass on the left, and we're keeping our eyes on the pitch. We're also keeping our eyes on the Real Betis fans closest to us in this east stand away to our right. They really have reinforced the line of stewards there. As Sancho plays the ball to Pellistri. That's a good challenge on Pellistri on the edge of the box, and it's cleared out for a throw-in to Manchester United midway inside the Sporting half. But there is clearly two sets of fans goading each other. We can see the Real Betis fans sort of leaning into the stewards, who have it under control at the moment. But all the fans around us, actually, Leon Osman, are looking to their right rather than looking at the pitch. Yeah, I mean, there's obviously a bit of trouble going on away to our right-hand side. I can see both sets of fans throwing things at each other. The Betis fans are desperately trying to get into the Manchester United end at the moment. The stewards are having a really difficult time of trying to keep them apart. Ugly scenes at the moment. Stewards doing their best to hold their line. The Real Betis fans are standing on the seats and standing on each other's shoulders, and there are things being thrown from either side here, and the stewards trying to keep it under control. The football continues on the pitch in front of us. Not what we want to see at Old Trafford. Manchester United leading the game by 4-1, and the players quite rightly keeping their attention on matters on the field. David De Gea catches the ball inside his own penalty area. Can still see things being thrown from either section there away to our right-hand side. 5 Live, BBC Sounds and BBC Radio Manchester tonight. Comfortable win for Manchester United on the pitch as Weghorst tries to take the ball off Luis Felipe. Pellistri has been really good for United, busy since coming on. Plays it back to Bruno Fernandes, trying to get away from his fellow countryman Carvalho. Holds him off, plays the ball back to Casemiro. Low ball in, just wide of the far post. Claudio Bravo will tell you he had it covered. Not quite sure whether it was a cross or a shot from Casemiro, but it's gone behind for a goal kick to Real Betis. Sevilla lead Fenerbahce by 2 goals to 0 with a couple of minutes to play in that game that kicked off at 8 o'clock in the Europa League this evening. Leon Osman.
Yeah, good play. Again, started through the endeavour and the desire to win the ball back from Wout Weghorst. He's been very good playing centre forward today. He's worked his socks off. He's won the ball back. He's tried to play people in. He's got the goal that he's desperately been after for a while. So I'll be really pleased with his evening's football.
Late equaliser for Feyenoord. Shakhtar 1, Feyenoord 1. Goal kick for Real Betis. 89th minute of the game. Cleared downfield by Claudio Bravo. Casemiro wins it for Manchester United. Plays it wide right to Wan-Bissaka. Wan-Bissaka looking for the ball over the top towards Sancho. And Sabali heads it back to his goalkeeper. Claudio Bravo slings it out with his right arm. The police are now heavily involved in that Real Betis section. Away to our right, I can see the police in the luminous high-vis jackets, the helmets on. They're stepping in to help the stewards out and try and calm the situation away to our right.
I think they're just trying to force the Betis fans away from the Manchester United fans, just to put a bit of space in between the sets of fans. Are finding it difficult.
Ball down the left here for Tyrell Malacia. 90th minute of the game. Malacia, no, not quite. McTominay was ahead of him, but McTominay had run on too far. Casemiro wins another one for Manchester United and plays it to Bruno Fernandes. Wan-Bissaka in support on the right-hand side. Fourth official out to the edge of the pitch to tell us how much added time we've got. Here's Sancho, pops up in the Betis penalty area, tries to get a cross in, it's blocked, and behind it goes for another Manchester United corner. 4 minutes of added time. I would not be surprised if United get a fifth here, Leon.
No, and it would make an incredible difference. It really would. 3-goal advantage would be brilliant to take to Sevilla for the second leg, but they could just manage to get another one. That would be an incredible advantage for that second leg.
Situation seems to have calmed for the moment away to our right. Manchester United leading Betis by 4 goals to 1. On air through until 10:30 this evening. Anything you miss in the Football Daily podcast for you on the BBC Sounds app tomorrow. Bruno Fernandes was about to take the corner, and then I think the ball might have oscillated ever so slightly, seemed to put him off. So he runs towards it, replaces it, holds his arm in the air, and now curls one in at pace. Near post, just over the bar from Martinez, stretching on the half volley at a very tight angle, and behind it goes for a goal kick.
Yeah, half a chance at best, that one. Wicked pace on the delivery from Bruno Fernandes. Put it on the inside shoulder of that man at the front post who should have been in a position to deal with it. Martinez arrives, full stretch, left foot, just trying to get anything on the end of it, guided towards the goal. Gets the direction right, to be honest, but just can't keep it underneath the crossbar.
3 minutes remaining in the game. Claudio Bravo, Betis' keeper, clears. It bounces 2-3 times and goes all the way through to David De Gea, who gets down on one knee. Very carefully picks that ball up. Has had very little to do in this second half as Manchester United have taken control of the game. Manuel Pellegrini, I think in his second season in charge as Manchester City manager, came here and lost the game by 4 goals to 2. Tonight it's 4-1. In his first season in charge, came here and won by 3 goals to 0, with Manchester City on their way that season to the Premier League title. Less happy times this evening for him. Bravo clears, high steepling goal kick, lands inside the Manchester United half, played forward by Malacia. Petzela wins a header. Iglesias knocks it up in the air. McTominay wins the next one. It's all got a bit scrappy in the closing stages here. Clever from Sabali, turns into trouble though, and now Casemiro, low drill ball, water ball into the feet of Fernandes. Quickly on here to Pellistri running into the penalty area, hits the shot. Bravo down to his left, makes the save, and it goes behind for another Manchester United corner.
Oh, when they're positive like that, they're so difficult to stop. I mean, Jadon Sancho worked ever so hard on this left-hand side to win the ball back. Casemiro played an eye-of-the-needle pass to Fernandes, who in turn so quick in turning and picking out Pellistri on the move, and gets a good shot away, good save, but back to front in an instant from Manchester United.
Corner for Manchester United, 20 seconds to play of added time. Bruno Fernandes delivery, almost a miscue in the box from Abner. Iglesias helps him out. Betis whack it away. That's going to be a throw-in for Manchester United inside the Real Betis half. Is there time for any more goals? Wan-Bissaka's ready to take the throw, has the ball in his 2 hands, throws it to Bruno Fernandes, who controls it on the volley, finds Wan-Bissaka on the inside. Pellistri wins a tackle on the edge of the box, then he's stopped. Casemiro in to win one. Could be a late chance here. Casemiro's ball, though, doesn't quite find Sancho on the left. And I think the offside flag is up there. And Real Betis may well have the final kick of the game as they clear their lines. But in the end, they are going to be well beaten tonight.
Yeah, I mean, it was a decent performance from Betis to stay in the game in the first half. They looked a threat. They grew into the game. They got the goal, which they certainly deserved in that first half. But in the second half, they've just seemed to run out of steam, run out of gas. The energy that they've had to put into staying in the game has been too much for them. They've made a number of changes to try and match Manchester United, but they've just been too powerful.
Weghorst chasing a ball inside the Betis half, sliding challenge on him, and it runs to Pellistri. McTominay's got his arm up in the middle. Pellistri at real pace. Cross comes in. Too close to the goalkeeper and the defender, Petzela. Petzela clears first time. Bruno Fernandes still hungry for that ball, trying to win it back. That is that, and that is how you bounce back from a 7-0 defeat by your greatest rival. Certainly with that second half performance from Manchester United. They've beaten Real Betis in the end by 4-1 to take control of this last 16 tie. Marcus Rashford got them up and running early on. Betis pegged them back. It was 1-1 at half-time, but then Manchester United took control, got in front through a sumptuous Anthony Curler. Bruno Fernandes, the captain, so heavily criticised after the defeat at Anfield, got his goal with a powerful header from a Luke Shaw corner. And then probably the moment of the night, Leon Osman, Wout Weghorst sticking one away from close range. Manchester United in total control.
Yeah, and, you know, they deserved this victory. They earned it. It was a great reaction, as you said, from the weekend's embarrassment away at Anfield. So, you know, you can't ask much more of them. They were a little bit tentative after they went in front in the second half, but I'm sure that Montserrat Ten Hag got into them at half-time and said, when you get a goal in the second half, go from strength to strength, believe in yourself. And they looked every bit that Manchester United outfit he's been building for the past few months in that second half. And the fact it could have been more, they had chances, they had opportunities, but they'll be delighted to take a 4-1 scoreline over to Spain for that second leg.
Yeah, awful at Anfield, on top at Old Trafford. Manchester United 4, Real Betis 1.
Really needed that up sum of the final 20 minutes there, Ali, because I spent so much time looking across to my right-hand side at what was going on with the Real Betis supporters, and I can tell you it was quite ugly for quite a while. Not only did we have some Betis fans standing on the shoulders of others and jumping down up onto the stewards on the right-hand side, I saw a few fans taking off belts and swinging them at stewards as well. They then had to move in riot police after that as well. And I appreciate, you know, that the two of you were commentating, so you won't have seen anywhere near as much as me, but even in the little bit when you turned round, it was bad, wasn't it, Ali? It was bad, Leon.
Yeah, from what I saw, yeah, I mean, you don't want to see two sets of fans being able to be so close and engage with each other. And, you know, as I said, it's easier for me to see the Betis fans than the Manchester United fans.
I think it was all Betis fans,
but
to be honest.
The Betis fans were trying to get into the Manchester United ends. They were throwing things in. They were swinging. I don't know whether it was sticks or something. They were swinging to try and basically hurt the Manchester United fans, which, you know, the police and the stewards were desperately trying to get involved quickly to separate them, to make sure that nothing could happen. The stewards found it very difficult to begin with. They were completely outnumbered and outmatched, and it took those police to get there quickly with all the riot gear on to make sure that they could separate them.
I think you really have to credit the stewards for their bravery in the job they did there, Steve, because they haven't got the protective equipment that the police officers have, and that was needed to quell that. So that is something that will certainly be looked into after this game, and as it always does, any scenes like that mar the sporting occasion, don't they?
Yeah, and we'll follow up as well, because we're going to speak to Charlotte Dunker again between 10 and 10:30, so we'll ask her a little bit about what she saw, but certainly very ugly scenes from the Real Betis fans. I said earlier that two of the most, I can't think of a better word, the notorious ultras groups of Real Betis were sitting right next to each other, right in that stand. They're called United Family, and they are one of the more notorious Real Betis ultras groups. Thankfully, it all seems to have calmed down. So let's talk a little bit about the football. René Merlenstein is back with us. René, what did you make of that performance from Manchester United?
Very, very good second half. That's how you want Man United to play. There was a lot of penetration. There was a lot of threat. They nullified everything that Real Betis had, and like Leon said, get your noses in front again and keep building. Get more goals. To be fairly honest, 4-1 is a really great result. It doesn't take anything away, if not a lot away from last Sunday's defeat. But there was no better medicine after a defeat like that than winning in the fashion that they did. And to be fairly honest, it could have or maybe should have even 5 or 6-1.
The worst possible second half a few days ago, Leon. And listen, this game is not the stuff of dreams. It couldn't be playing Real Betis in the Europa League, but did it give them as much as they possibly could get from tonight?
Yeah, I mean, it's a good tonic, as Rene said, to put things right, to come out in that second half, because they came out at Anfield sloppy and slow, and they couldn't seem to shake it off. They couldn't seem to get out of that position that they were in, no matter how much they ran around on the field, because momentum is everything in football. It's so huge. And they had an opportunity to get it in the first half, but what was impressive was once they got it in the second half, they ran with it. They were on top. They played in Betis' half. They created opportunities. They nullified any real threat that Betis had in the first half. They didn't really have in the second half, and they used that momentum to their advantage. Maybe they learned an awful lot being on the back end of that last week, but they were impressive here in that second half tonight.
I thought, Leon, the difference where the irritation and frustration kicked in the second half of the Liverpool game when they scored, the second and the third goal. Today, I'm sure that Ten Hag said, listen, let's not get frustrated, keep focused, concentrate, and that concentration brought the quality that was needed. You could see that in the goals. There was some excellent play. I mean, obviously, the ball that Bruno Fernandes put over the top for Anthony, he needs to square that. That's one of the things I'm sure Ten Hag will look at, because that's a certain goal. But the football itself, I thought the concentration throughout the second half was really, really good.
Yeah, they could have. I mean, especially they grew in that second half. I think the key moment in the game was once they conceded and it went to 1-1, they didn't show those frustrations from the weekend. They didn't panic. They didn't lose their momentum, they didn't lose their concentration in those moments. And sometimes you've got to get to half-time, which they did, and in the second half, it was complete control.
Right, we've got lots more reaction coming up between now and 10:30 when, of course, Colin Murray will be taking over. Charlotte Dunker's going to join us. We've got Rene Merlenstein, Ali Bruce Ball and Leon Osman all with us here inside Old Trafford to reflect on what we've just seen. Also going on right now, the tennis at Indian Wells. Russell Fuller is watching Emma Raducanu.